Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and welcome to the Ricmotech World Challenge. It's a break from the usual programming here tonight. The Ricmotech Sports Car Series takes a back seat for 1 week every month, and the Ricmotech World Challenge takes its place. We've got 3 classes tonight, Adam, and see the Porsche in action at the Canadian Motorsport Park.
Yeah, it's an even longer race than the Ricmotech Sports Car Series endurance races. We've got 2 hours and 15 minutes to take place today, or 135 minutes if you like it that way. We can run you through the calendar as well, but yeah, starting out today at Motorsport, a track that I think we both like. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Not a bad one, that. I remember we had some great races at the BSRTC here. We have seen some good action. Seen it in the MX-5s, we've seen it in the Renault, so yeah, it should be good. That final sector is, in fact, the whole track's pretty spectacular in terms of one of those commitment circuits, isn't it? And I think plenty of that going on here today. The qualifying is almost over. Be able to bring you the grid in just a few short seconds. There are 6 Porsches, there are 9 Mustangs, there are 5 Mazdas, all, well, most of them with 2 drivers in them. Can have up to 3.
Right, yeah, we have got the grid up on the screen for you. And yeah, we'll run you through it. Mike Damden starts on the pole position. Second, Travis Davis. Third is Brian Strosbeck. And then fourth is Drew Eccles. Fifth, Russell Ruddock. Then sixth, Kevin Shannon. Then seventh, Stephen Thomas.
I have to point out, Mike Dam is a Canadian.
Yes, he is. Home venue for him, in fact. And we do have the flags up on the grid as well. So, as you can see, an American contingent, but Mike Dam crashing the party there. 8th is Clint Vigas. 9th, Jeff Jacobs. 10th, Steve Brown. 11th, Matthew Katila. And 12th, Chris Torman. You can see by the gaps there, we have got a bit of a gulf between 1st and 12th. Moving on back, he says, moving on back, I'm trying to find the button actually that goes on to the next... On to the next thing. There we go. Jeff Jacobs 9th, Steve Brown 10th, Katila Chris Horman. Then Forrest Landy in 13th, 14th George D'Angelo. Then we've got Justin Hall 15th, 16th Travis Fenke, 17th Brandon Whitworth, Chad Parker starting in 18th for the Friday nights. Then Rob Hartley in 19th and 20th for Eric Voilet. And then bringing up the rear, we've got Pasquale Iannucci in 21st. And we're going to be seeing quite a few pit stops. We do have that calendar now to hand. And I can say that we start off today at Virginia. Sorry, we start off today at Canadian Motorsport Park. Then we go to Virginia next week. Then not next week actually. It's at the end of May. Then mid-June, the Coca-Cola 135 at the Glen. Then 9th of July, we go to Road America, Elkhart Lake, as the field gets underway on their formation lap. We've got Lexington, Ohio, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course at the end of July. Mid-August, COTA, Circuit of the Americas, and then we're into the back end of the year, really. September, Monza, October, Sebring, and then we end the season, as every Ricmotech series seems to do these days. It ends in November at Road Atlanta, so that is how we're going to be playing out this season. Cars on their formation lap then ready for the opening race of the season in the Ricmotech World Challenge. 135-minute race. We're going to have a few pit stops, that is for certain. And looking at the Porsche class, Woody, we've got about 6 or 7 Porsches, and then the rest of the classes as well.
Yeah, it should be good. I think we've got a competitive field out there today. It was pretty close in qualifying, just 1 second covering the Porsches. In fact, just 2/10 covering the first 4. Got 4/10 covering the first 4 in the Mustangs. Then there's a bit of a gap. The 074 Travis Fenke and Tom Rathje, they look like they're the ones with the best chance. Yeah, we'll see how everybody gets on. Mike Dam in the Cryptology Racing orange car. He may be racing that on his own today, so we will see. And then it's the Travis Davis Ricmotech Motorsports white. We know he's definitely racing it on his own, as Kevin Ford had some technical issues. And Drift line racing at the front for the Mustangs as well. We'll see them coming through in just a moment. And Adam, what's the... I think a lot of drivers would look to turn 2 as the most difficult part of the circuit.
That's usually where we see if quite a few cars go off. It is very difficult if you get offline there. It just isn't gripping at all, just because of the way the corner's cambered. And yeah, once you get onto that grass on the outside, you can really do nothing about it. You're heading straight off to the tyre wall. A bit like what happens at Thruxton if you get a puncture.
Oh yeah, there's no coming back from that. Except here, you won't end up in the trees. End up pretty close to them. Here we go then. Pace car very abruptly comes into the pits. Mike Dam leads us away off the green flag. Dam leads. Davis coming under pressure from Brian Strodbeck. He's going to be close into 2. See, the car's getting unsettled already. You do not want to go out too wide there, because you will be in trouble. Here come the Mustangs, Adam.
Mustangs coming through the final corner then, a class that we know very well. And it's going to be Stephen Thomas and Clint Vigus that bring us down for the green here. Green flag in the air for the Mustang category, and here they come storming into the first corner. It's Thomas that's just going to be clear of Vigus, and Vigus slotting into that second place as we've got 2 wide between the likes of Jennifer McDonald and Matthew Katila as well as we plunge down the hill.
Steve Brown very, very close to Clint Vigus through the first couple of corners. Now this gets on as the Travis Schwenke's got a good start in the Mazdas. Brandon Whitworth in second. Rob Hartley is in third. 4th for Chad Parker and 5th for Eric Violet. All them away.
Yeah, Pasquale Iannucci, the only one to not start. I'm guessing he's just either an onlooker or an as-min or something like that. Or maybe he's not going to be in the car later, is he? So, yeah, I think Pat's just a watcher for this one. Of course, a regular from the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, which will be back next week. But now it's the turn of the World Challenge to take centre stage, as the Porsches are already pretty much a third of the way through the second lap. It's Dam, then Davis, Strodbeck, Eccles, Ruddock, and Shannon, the top 6 in the Porsches. No changes there.
As we mentioned earlier on, there will be pit stops tonight, and 2 of them, we believe. And into the... I'll put my teeth back in and say that again. And interestingly, Adam, the Porsches have to take a mandatory 4-tyre stop at some point during the race.
Makes sense. Kevin Ford just speaking to us before we got going today, explaining what's going to be happening, and yeah, the Porsches are going to take 4 tyres, and makes sense. From what he told us, they're good for a good 60 minutes, aren't they, before they need to come in?
Yeah, and tyres might take a bit of a pounding round here. You know, it's one of those circuits where there's quite a lot of long corners, a lot of fast corners as well. Fast or medium speed, abundance, like Barcelona actually, Adam, where F1 drivers are going to be tackling next weekend.
Should be interesting, that one.
Mike Dam, and of course F1 used to come here at the Canadian Motorsport Park in the day. Used to have a Grand Prix here.
Yeah,
Mike Dam is doing a great job as the home driver in this field.
Yeah, Mike Dam doing a very good job. I think Motorsport hosted the race until 77. I know the first race is at Montreal 78, and
yep.
Yeah,
be about right. It wasn't. Was it called? Here's a question. I wonder if anybody can answer us on the chat. Was it called Circuit Gilles Villeneuve when it opened? Imagine not, but you never know.
Yeah, I'll have a look for you. That one might be one to come back to. We've got plenty of time, of course.
That'll be a trivia question. The postcard.
Hashtag Apex
now,
Trivia.
We've got a good battle going on in the MX-5s actually. Schwenke, Whitworth, and Hartley. Now Brandon Whitworth's normally in the Ford Mustang, Adam, but he looks like he's right on the pace here in the MX-5s as the Porsche's already almost coming through. Look, after just 3 laps. Or just 2 laps for the Mazdas, actually.
Yes, it's a new dynamic for us to get used to here, because usually the Mustangs, they don't get to the Porsches for quite a while, but Chad Parker and Eric Violet already getting laps by the Porsches.
Well, this is going to be key for everybody concerned, isn't it? Oh, heck!
Oh,
very close, isn't it? Between Rodbeck and Davis. Oh, almost colliding there at the right hand there. It's interesting how the different drivers tackle that double apex right at the back of the circuit, isn't it?
Going to see a few different lines there. Notice on the team speak that we do have trading paints on, but I can run it again.
Give it a quick refreshment.
Yep, here comes Davis for the lead into the penultimate corner. He's trying, isn't he? As we are riding on board there for a brief moment, and now we're back again as here comes Strodbeck into the action as well. Great battle for the lead starting to unfold here.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how these drivers attack the race, because doing a quarter hours, they're going to go for it and try and build up a lead. You'd imagine that would be the sensible thing, because surely they're not all going to be running together like this for the entire duration. May as well try and build a gap.
I think that's what they're trying to do anyway, but we've seen in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series in the past, and the Mustang and the Mazda category, building a gap seems to be a very, very difficult task to do, especially in some of the recent races we've had in the Mustang class, a class where the slipstream is usually quite difficult. They've been mightily good.
And we've got only 1.8 seconds separating the top 5 in the Porsches. With Black Sheep Motorsports 2, with Kevin Shannon in that one. He fallen off a little bit, so the only real development there in terms of drivers who have fallen off the pace a bit. In the Mustangs, it's looking very close as well. Stephen Thomas, he leads the way with Clint Vigus behind him. Steve Brown in third. 5 seconds actually back to Chris Torman. You can see the kind of pressure that he's coming under from Matthew Catila. These are two drivers who are well, I mean, Torman normally does the Mazda, doesn't he? And Catila is a regular Mustang driver in the main series.
Just looking on board now with Matthew Catila, and just behind him as well, he's got Mike Monaghan. So
look at this as well.
Gearbox.
Sorry, dude. I was sorry to interrupt. I've just noticed the Porsches are in the background of the shot.
Oh, off is Ruddock. I just cut to him, in fact, and you said that you'd mentioned the Porsches and the number 95 with the Rusty's Lightning McQueen.
Oh, he's had
backing. Is that an off?
Oh, he's had contact. That's what he's had as well, and that's with Drew Eccles. Oh, and so Eccles slows. Ruddock sees an opportunity. Eccles doesn't see Ruddock, it looks like. That's the result. Ruddock into the barrier.
Yeah, just having a look on the replay. Well done to that Mustang for not hitting him. I'll be
honest, I would be super surprised if that's anything other than a racing incident.
Well, we do have live stewards in this. Kevin Ford.
Good. I mean, it's on one hand, it's possible that you could say that Ruddock might have been a little reckless going for a gap like that. However, he was going through the gap until Eccles moved into him, so it's a difficult one. Luckily for us, we don't have to steward this race.
We were, weren't we, for a brief moment?
A couple of hours, we thought we might have to do it, yeah.
And Kevin Ford taking the helm there.
Your experience of this track, Adam, have you watched many races here?
I've seen clips of races here. I think I may have watched the old Grand Am Rolex series back in the day, racing around this circuit. And of course there's that NASCAR truck race where they just take each other off the road and then end up having a fist fight at the end of it, don't they? Is
that the one where a bloke got rugby tackled, was it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
PD and Brian Strodbeck then. Going down the back straight and having a good battle. Side by side now. Round the outside for Strodbeck.
Oh, he's gone.
And he's off onto the grass. Luckily for him, that's tarmac runoff area, Adam. Otherwise, that would have been a big one.
Yeah, he was able to just about salvage it and get back going again. But this does mean he's dropped down to 4th position after a few laps with no overtaking in the Porsches. Things are just starting to get a little bit exciting all of a sudden in this class.
And the big burning question is, did the paints change after you refreshed them?
Well, what do you see with our second place man Travis Davis? I've got a Simpson liveried car there for him.
Oh look, I've just refreshed it myself.
I did refresh them, so I don't know what's going down there unless Mike Dam's something happened.
Ricmotech sponsored livery.
You see,
for me anyway.
I've got a Simpit one. I've got trading paints on, so I don't know what's going down there.
Bit of an odd one. You never truly know what's going on with trading paint sometimes.
Yeah. Don't know what to say about that, unfortunately. So if you do have a paint and it's not being shown, I can only apologise.
Now, just quickly, the track conditions out there. Now, it was interesting to see what the weather's doing here, and it's late afternoon conditions, so it is slightly cooler. It's 18 degrees air temperature, 23 degrees track temperature. So the tyres will hopefully last a good amount of time here. The drivers will be hoping for them to last about 50 to 60 minutes, we're told, in the first stint for all the classes. So we're expecting a flurry of pit stops in about 40 minutes time.
Good battle here in the Mazdas. We've got Brandon Whitworth versus Rob Hartley going down the back straight. Bit of classic
Hartley's going to go for
as
it.
well. Here we go, yeah, over the top of the hill. That's a bad camera angle. Into the right-hander we go, and through goes Hartley. So that's Hartley up into 17th position now, 2 positions gained. Slowly getting there, and who's leading the Mazda category actually at the moment?
Travis Fenke.
Travis Fenke, who's just 1 position up the road, and he's 1.4 seconds ahead, and Hartley can now focus on catching him.
Travis Fenke is he's used to leading these races, isn't he? I mean, he probably leads every single race in this championship, such is the nature of the car. But Fenke very experienced. He knows what to do out there. Oh, drivers using all of the track. Brandon Whitworth trying to stay with Rob Hartley, who's decided it looks like that Travis Fenke, in his opinion, might be getting a bit too far away.
Got a track map up on screen, and you can see that there's action pretty much in every single bit of the circuit at the moment. Dam and the Porsches all pretty close. You've got these Mazdas just negotiating the back part of the circuit, and then you've got the Mustangs just negotiating the first sector.
The classic. Do we see classes on there as well?
I don't know, because this is the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, as you can see there. We haven't had opportunity to change it over. Well, Alex Simpson, our good friend, has actually made one, but I couldn't get access to it. So, yeah, we're stuck on the Sports Car Series. Well, I don't know what features will work, but I can see if the classes will work for you in a moment.
Now, there's a good discussion on the chat going on about the Ford Mustang as well, and it's a car which, I've only driven in a couple of races before. I did get a win in the Club 73 Touring Car Championship there at Monza. That car, but that was only really because everyone else crashed off. True. But it's not a bad car to drive. It's one that was quite enjoyable and you can throw it around. It does like the curbs. It doesn't seem to be phased by those, and not a bad car. I just wish we had the equivalent of a newer one. I mean, do they run a newer one in something like IMSA or something like the probably not IMSA, something like Rolex or something?
Well, in the IMSA they have the GT LM class, which is the sports car, which is the GT3 cars that you see at well, I say GT3, the GT cars that you see at WEC and at Le Mans, and then I think you have a GTDP class, I think, or something like that, where you'd see the Mustangs and the stuff that races in the Continental Sports Car Series and stuff like that. So that's the last time I checked anyway, and I haven't watched that series in a good few years. So if things have changed,
So
I don't know.
apparently, sorry, the Ford Mustang has raced in GT4 form at the Petit Le Mans.
There you go. Well,
At Road Atlanta.
there was a GT4 race on this weekend at Brands Hatch, but unfortunately, I had my mind elsewhere on Sunday, so I didn't get to see it. So I didn't see if there was any Ford Mustangs there.
I think that was where Ford seemed to enjoy it racing there. It's been at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, so it is around in GT4 form, and that thing looks, it looks pretty beastly, I have to say. So, Ford, what are you waiting for? Get that in here.
Oh, it's
There's somebody saying the Continental Tire Series ran a GT4 Mustang as well.
Yes, which I think is now gone to prominence since the Rolex Sports Car Series merged with the American Le Mans Series to make IMSA. Travis Venke then.
What was the WeatherTech Series then?
That's the IMSA, isn't it? That's the sponsor.
Yeah.
That's the sponsor. I think
that's the sponsor.
it was the Tudor Sports Car Series for a while now. I think it's.
Oh, that's it.
That's the WeatherTech.
Now, what we have got is after the spin of Ruddock, and the contact that he is actually with Kevin Shannon, so they have got a bit of a battle going on there in cars 16 and 95. There, 5th and 6th in the category. Porsche is just so much quicker than these other two cars out here today. Think it's going to cause any problems in terms of the closing speed and things? I mean, it already has kind of caused one small problem.
Yeah, we've seen a few of them, but I think the drivers will get used to it. They're going to be on track for quite a while today. You can see on the clock we're 16 minutes into this 2-hour and 15-minute race. Time is 20 past 1 here in the UK, so we're going to be on air for quite some time, I reckon. May even be getting light outside by the time we wrap up here today, but we're going to be enjoying the action. I hope you all are as well. We can see the chat is pretty lively tonight. Continental's the junior series for the WeatherTech IMSA series.
Oh, off!
That's Shannon.
Yes.
Now, how did that happen? I was looking at the timing screens when that happened. Kevin Shannon. Let's have a look.
I think he just lost the. Oh yeah. Bit of an odd line he took into that right-hander.
Yeah.
Yeah, he paid for it a little bit there. Turn 5. That wasn't the best I've ever seen that taken, but Kevin Shannon's still in the race, no damage. And Travis Davis is taking the lead.
Oh, I'll get that in a second. I was just having a quick look to see if I could do anything about these paints, but let me delete these.
DD's taking the lead then, ahead of Mike Dam.
Let's have a look.
Only rivals in the Ford Mustang, and in fact Mike Dam has gone to the MX-5 this season, so he's really gone to the other end of the spectrum in this race. Gone to a car that's 15 seconds a lap quicker.
Oh, it was the traffic. Dam got bulked by by two of the Mazdas that were squabbling. That might have been the Schwenke-Hartley battle, you know, and that's changed positions as well. And yeah, Travis Davis, thank you very much. I'll take the lead, sir.
But now, this allows Drew Eccles to be right with Mike Dam. Which way is he going to go, though? Because this is very much an isn't straight, so it is important what you where you place the car.
But
inside is key for this final complex.
Bit of damage as well, isn't there, to the front right of Eccles' car.
This is a great course to... Oh, there it goes! Mike Dam!
How did he not hit the wall there? I do not know. But he's got to wait a while now, I think.
Dam's exactly what he would have been saying in the car.
Gets going again. Well, I'll be damned. Let's have a look at the replay. If I can find it.
Happily for him, he's still ahead of Michael Ruddock. So he's only actually lost 2 places.
Right. I can't find the flashback button, so this is going to be a full-on rewind the tape job. Here we go. So on the roll bar, going for the final corner, just puts the power down, and tell you what, it does a great job of avoiding that inside wall. The Cryptology Racing orange car, the Canadian at his home track.
Yeah, it's good stuff that. My damn to save the car. There's a big cluster here now around Matthew Katila. Porsche have come through. Katila trying to stay ahead as best he can of Chris Torman and Michael Monaghan.
Into the pits comes Steve Brown, by the way, as well, as we see these Mustangs coming through the final few corners. So that's the first pit stop today. Looks like it's a scheduled one as well.
Very early one for Brown, that. Well, actually, they may be able to go to the end on just one more stop now, though, I suppose. Different way of doing the strategy, isn't it?
There he is in the pit lane.
They've now been, yeah. Especially since they've now been lapped. It does make sense for them to get in, because it's not like they're going to be avoiding blue flags or anything like that.
14.3 second stop for Brown. He comes back out on the circuit just behind Christian Ost, who's in 14th place. So down to 15th he goes overall. Oh, bless me.
Christian Ost will get wrecked racing. Well, he'll be hoping not to be. Header Brown, as you mentioned, turn 2 motorsports for him. Jennifer McDonald's out there with Jeff Jacobs to take over later on in that number 38 Team Street Survival Mustang. Hooligan Racing, Michael Monaghan. 3 wide, goodness me.
Oh, where's this?
Well, it was Monaghan with Ruddock and Torman. And it's not the widest of tracks. I mean, there is a good space, but yeah, that was we've seen some pretty hairy moments so far.
Right, I've got some paints downloading again. I'll see if anything comes of it. But yeah, good battle so far. And Monaghan and Torman about half a second apart now. It is close between Hartley and Schwenke again, isn't it? It's Schwenke that's now lost the lead. But he now is trying to get it back here as we go over the top of the hill. And into this long right-hander where the BSR-TC title was all but decided. And back in 2015. Alex Coffard saying, is this real life or a video game? It's
Is this the real
yes,
life?
I was just about to start singing that. Is
this just fantasy? Well, it's neither. It's a bit of both, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're caught in a
caught in a landslide of
no escape
I
from
don't know.
yeah, no escape from
No escape from Canadian Motorsport Park.
Yeah. Open your eyes, look up to the sim and see. I don't know. There you go.
Easy come, easy go. That's like my I rating. Put down left and
my
right.
safety rating, I think, would be my issue, I think.
Exactly. No, it's very close to the lead in the Mustangs now. Yeah. Thomas and Vigas just half a second apart. Sorry.
Nothing really matters. It does actually matter. This is the opening race of the season. Want to get some points on the board. The gap, yeah, 7/10 of a second here. We've got the battle window open as they come into the final few corners of the back section of the circuit. And look what they've got there. An old friend lapping them as well. That's Mike Dam, isn't it, going by in his Porsche.
Now, usually I don't approve of it, but I do approve of the use of the word goon, just because I like the word. So, Andrew Fawcett, congratulations. That's the best comment of the day so far. That's an underused insult, is goon, I must admit.
I haven't heard it since the days of the playground, and I was getting called that quite a bit.
Was there a film about ice hockey called Goon?
Now you're asking.
I know there was a pro wrestler. I know this is really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Oh, there was a pro wrestler in the WWF in the 90s called the Goon, I think. And he was a hockey player.
Yes, it's a 2011 movie. Goon.
Oh, there you go.
It helps.
Sean William Scott.
It helps that we are in Canada and ice hockey is the national sport here.
Wonderful game that is.
Yeah, the World Championships are on at the moment. Great Britain have qualified for next year's one, but they're not here this year. But I was watching USA beat Canada the other day in the office.
But that's the first time that Britain have qualified, I believe, for the highest tier of global ice hockey in about 50 years or something. So hopefully it won't be another 50 years until... Hopefully they'll stay there and it won't be another 50 years until they get back. Hopefully it will be less than 50 years until the Colorado Avalanche win a Stanley Cup. But we can but dream, ladies and gentlemen.
Just like I think both our clubs getting back to the Premier League, but
well, what's going to be longer, Colorado winning a Stanley Cup or Leeds United getting promoted to the Premier League? You can leave your input on that on the chat as well, okay. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, the battle for the front three in the Porsche, very, very highly contested here. Travis Davis, car 32. Ricmotech Motorsport's white. He should have been sharing it with Kevin Ford, but Ford with some issues with the steering wheel, not being able to compete. He's ahead of Turn 2 Motorsports B, Brian Strodbeck. At the moment, no partner for him in that one, but don't know if there's going to be one. Black Sheep Motorsports number 41, Drew Eccles. No partner yet for him, but again, we may see one come the pit stops, which, like we said before, are going to be in around 25 minutes' time. That's going to be when the round's starting. Of course, a couple of drivers, Adam, have been in already, because it's going to be a two-stop race, so you might as well get one out of the way early on, and then, like I say, it's one stop all the way to the end. That might be maybe the easier way of sorting that out. Yeah,
a few drivers have come in. Steve Brown in. It might actually be the only one.
Sorry, you know that you can get to the end on one stop now, so you don't have to guess how much fuel you need. You don't have to be worried about what you're putting in later on. So I think that's quite a good. That's quite a sound strategy, actually, Adam. If you work out the fuel number that you need, work out a time number, and that's really the best way of doing it. Now,
so, yeah,
we haven't looked at lap times very much today, by the way.
And I think we should, because Mike Dam is a man on a mission. So, the only driver in the 17s on that last lap. New fastest lap of the race, and purple final sector as well, 17.8, and he's on a mission. It's 10 seconds, though, the gap to Eccles in third place, but with just under 2 hours to go, I think that's ample time to try and close up.
So, Alex Coffard has another comment on the chat, throwing another hat into the ring. England winning the World Cup. Would that be sooner rather than later, compared with the Avalanche and Leeds United getting promoted to the Premier League? At this point, I'm far too cynical to suggest we're going to get promoted. We cannot string a good season together. It's now 52 years since England did win the World Cup, for those who don't know, in football. And yeah, the likelihood of it happening again anytime soon, I mean, you never know. You never know. I was having this conversation last night with someone, and we agreed that, you know, a semi-final would be pretty good, I think.
We're trying not to hold our breath, aren't we? But you know how we get swept up into all of it. Fast forward a month, we'll be rating our chances all of a sudden, won't we?
It is one of those things, isn't it? I mean, I don't think, you know, never rule it. I think one thing with England is you can never rule us out, and you can't rule out Brian Strodbeck at the minute either, because he's right on the back of Travis Davis. And when I say right on the back of him, right on the back, Adam, he's very close now. He
oh, look at him diving
really
there.
On a mission. He's almost going through in turn one.
Looking from the chopper. We've got a great view here from the chopper, actually, and going down the hill, and you can see under braking he's just taking yards away, but then Davis gets on the throttle and is able to pull those temps back out again. And it's a few temps back to Eccles, who is in 3rd position, then Dan 4th, Ruddock in 5th, and then Shannon in 6th. These 6 Porsches doing a very good job so far. We haven't seen any pit stops from them yet, but we'll hopefully see them in not too distant future. Eric Voilet has come into the pits as well, so he was running last, and he's coming to make his first stop of the day. It's that final sector for Strodbeck. That seems to be where he seems to close the gap.
Yeah, he's very good through there. He's obviously got the confidence that he can really carry the speed through there. So precisely, if he can do it again this time, bit of traffic to deal with. Had a great lap this time, Strodbeck, compared to that of Travis Davison.
Oh,
good job, but he's getting held up here now. But it's the patience he needs through the traffic for Davis. Going to maintain this lead. He likes that wider line through 1. Seeing Strodbeck sort of dave across to the inside just in anticipation of a mistake. Shaping up to be a good race, this.
Yeah, Strodbeck driving for Turn 2 Motorsports P. There's always the fear of if the class has got a low amount of cars in, like 6 that we've got today, then they're all going to break away and it's going to be pretty dull, but definitely not the case here.
There's also the other fear that they all crash out.
Oh, we've had that before.
But that is not the case here. Because I'll root for whatever country has the hottest women. Well, I mean, you know, we can't really comment on that one, but no, fair play to you.
Could go into details, but but we'll probably get fired. But
again, yeah, probably. Now,
and that's all open to opinion. Got to be subjective there.
That's it.
I'm just having a look at the teams. I'm just going to have a look at the teams that are in the World Cup. Actually, so.
Go. Now, funny actually, it's a team event this, but top 2 drivers don't appear to have a teammate yet. Davis won't have one at all, we're being told, but sure about Strodbeck. And Hartley still leads the way in the Mazdas as well. Currently in 16th place.
Yeah, and he's about to get lapped again by the Porsches. Aren't those two about to get lapped? As you can see, the Porsche's just coming into the back of the shot. Hartley in the Madhouse racing car.
Tell you what, the Porsches really don't take any prisoners, do they? In terms of the you know, in terms of how quickly they get through the lap traffic.
Don't really get to see these type of Porsches racing anymore. I think they only ever race in the Porsche Carrera Cup and the Porsche Super Cup now. At WEC, they've got a new Porsche in the GTLM class.
They're great looking cars though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, definitely. It's they did pretty well on Saturday as well, didn't they? In the 6 hours of Spa, Ferrari looked massively off the pace.
That classic shape, isn't it? And yeah, just a really fun car on iRacing as well. I've not driven it for quite some time, but I know when I did, definitely really, really enjoyable. One of the best cars that iRacing have produced. I think the MX-5's up there with that as well.
Don't know if anyone.
I think it's between at the moment. Just by my opinion, I believe it's the MX-5, the Ferrari, and the Porsche.
Does the Jetta just miss out for you?
Something about emissions, possibly. No, but no.
Yeah.
You know what? The Jetta's all right. I've driven the Jetta. It's all right, but it's one of those, isn't it?
Good job.
The Jetta on Apex Racing TV, of course.
Good dodge by Justin Hall, says Alex Coffard there.
Dodge do what? Sorry.
Justin Hall with a dodge.
Not Dodgers in the. Sorry, I thought you meant
yeah,
the
not as
Dodgers in the
not as in driving a Dodge.
car manufacturer. Yes.
I was just having a look. I've just seen it on the chat now. There was a spin in turn 3. Oh, I missed it. That's why. Yeah,
Previous lap that must be.
All had to get out of the way. Yeah, apologies there as I rewinded the tapes.
Oh, so the...
I've just got it now for you, actually.
Oh, well done to him. If you go on board with him, actually, mate, that's the best one.
Oh, he's on the grass, and back on again. Maybe that's not it, actually.
Kevin Shannon, who's been around.
Indeed he has.
Black Sheep Motorsports.
We've just got this, actually. Let's see what happened to the Black Sheep Motorsports number 2 car. He was trying to get around a Mustang and thought he could power it around the outside, and fortunately locked the brakes to avoid it. And well done to everyone else for making sure that nothing happened there. So Shannon in the Black Sheep Motorsports 2 car away.
Was a tremendous bit of driving though, that wasn't it? A bit to avoid that. Brilliant.
Chris,
just thought. Those are the kind of things though that can make the difference between you winning and losing a race.
Definitely,
or finishing a race even, you know, it's just one of those little... If for whatever reason he wasn't concentrating or he was looking at one of his other menus or whatever, he wouldn't have reacted in time, but he was alert, he was ready. Managed to get away with it.
Battle for the lead in the overall class, in the Porsche class, is heating up even more because we're now introducing Drew Eccles into the fray here. Purple sector 1 as well last time around for Stradbeck in his pursuit of the lead. We've got George D'Angelo in. Notice from
Maybe sliding the car around through through 3, sorry.
Kevin Ford giving us a helpful tip that Steve Brown in the Mustang is on a short pit strategy. That's why he was in much earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, would appear that they're on the same number of stops as everybody else, just maybe deciding to do the alternate strategy. It might pay off for them. Too far behind Jennifer McDonald, but I think he's a lap behind her.
Brown, no, I think he's on the same lap. McDonald and Brown actually are, if we get the battles up, I think they're actually pretty close, you know. Just a second apart, McDonald and Brown, so that's what's happening there. Something happened to Eric Voilet. He's been dropping.
Pitted, didn't he?
Out. Yeah, he's pitted, and he's on his out lap. He's vaulted and hit the wall on the inside of turn 2, and fortunately everyone seems to have missed him. I think he's going to get back on the track sooner or later. He has to find a gap, and there you go. He reverses, and away he goes. Strawbeck's gone off as well, actually. We've missed this. Oh, he spun. That's what's happened. While we were looking at the replay for the previous incident with Eric Voilet, it's Strawbeck, the car that was in second place, the driver that was in second place, that's looped it around.
Wasn't quite a violent one for Violet, but Strawbeck, yeah. Not what the doctor ordered for him, that's for sure.
Well,
doing a good job, wasn't he, really?
Well, Violet didn't come out of that smelling of roses, that's for sure.
Good.
The Strawbeck after that resumes in 4th position, and now that elevates Mike Dam up into the podium positions again in the Cryptogy Racing orange car.
Yep. I think in a race like this, the length that it is, I don't think you can count out Mike Dam at all. How many times have we said that on a Monday night? He's got it in him to be successful here, even with that mistake that he had. Very good drivers out there, though, of course.
As long as his internet wants to play ball, and I'm sure it will want to, because it is Canada after all.
Thing though, isn't it? Because seen before, it's been at the very ends of races when Mike Dam's had the issues. with things like connection. So be bracing himself just in case.
That's the thing with I was watching a during the WEC, Martin Haven was saying constantly it's okay if it's oil or if it's water. There's an issue with the car, because you can see it happening with electricity and cables and network and stuff like that. It's very difficult to spot an issue until it happens, and then you're in trouble.
It doesn't manifest itself, and that's the thing, is that it's like when you have a power cut, you don't suddenly get a warning that you're going to have a power cut. It's called a power cut and not a power slowly turn off.
Could do with that.
Clint Vigus is not cutting Thomas any slack. Driving a hard pace now. Leader of the Mustang category, 28.4. 28.7 for Thomas.
We're starting to see Clint Vigus get back to full form again after stepping out of the Mustang for the for the first half of last season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Came back as a privateer, won a race after things went badly wrong for Mike Dam and Aero Nom at a race meeting.
Badly wrong doesn't begin to cover it, does it? In terms of what that did for the championship.
No, it didn't. It was almost a title deciding race meeting that took place there. That was at Virginia, wasn't it? That one, I think.
It was. It was the last 20 minutes of that one, if you remember. I came in for the second half of it. Yeah, what a second half it was. Still got over an hour and a half to go here.
So yeah, we're just within a distance of a Ricmotech endurance race from the sports car series, which usually takes place on a Monday night. Could do a little bit of a roundup of the state of play there, as we're on lap 32 now. At least that's the number of laps that that's the number of laps that the Porsches have done anyway. After two race meetings, then it's Rob Hartley that leads the way there. Then it's Jim List in second, and Tyler Schiffler in joint second with him. And then we've got Travis Davis, Stephen Thomas, Iannucci, Jacobs, Ford, Payton and Ruddock completing the top 10 there. That's all the classes together. You'll have noticed that Hartley and List, both Mazda drivers in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, if you watch it, they are top of the tree ahead of some of the Mustangs. So it shows you how good those guys have had a start to the season.
Josh Martin says that the Mustangs are cool, but they're no Kia. I agree. You know, we love the Kia Optima on Apex Racing TV. We're not going to.
Oh yeah, I think
we don't hide that fact.
We're the biggest advocate, I think, of the Kia. Oh, it helps that we've got some great series
in the world, actually.
It's true. It is. It is. I think you'll be able to see more of the Kias, of course, on a Thursday night. If you're new to the channel, BSRTC, 60 cars on a grid. That's enough to make you want to watch, isn't it? And they'll be on.
Crazy series, really, when you think about it. It's been going since what? When did it start? 2013.
Yeah, late 2012.
2012.
2013. Yeah.
BSRTC, so it's in its 6th or 7th year. You know, it's just a tremendous
success story. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been on international TV. It's been, you know, and the Kia Optima has been part of that. You know, it's one of those where I think that
to answer
I'm surprised that people don't race it more. You know, it's for racing it's fantastic. It's not the best car to drive, we know that, but it's a decent car. It's a very good car to race with.
Not too many front-wheel drive cars either on the service, so bit of practice there. And to back up Frito Sports' point on the YouTube chat, I reckon we could do with a TCR car on iRacing. And,
I believe if you ignore my slight ignorance, I believe that's Edgar Sancinelli, isn't it?
Yes, I think. Yeah, I mean, you probably know more than me. Andrew Fawcett, who we've seen in some of the broadcasts on Apex Racing TV before. He crashed the Team Kia in the top split at the Le Mans not the Le Mans 24 hours, the Nürburgring 24 hours.
Nürburgring 24 hours.
Which were on iRacing last weekend.
I must admit, I doing the Formula Renault last week at the Nordschleife. I would not want to drive around there for 24 hours. I do enjoy the circuit, but I think
we've done the Le Mans 24 hours together. Would you do that in a Kia?
Excuse me, sorry, would I do that in the Kia?
Do you reckon it could go? I wonder if the Kia could go for 24 hours.
I think it'd be all right. I think it'd be all right. Yeah. The only problem you've got there is the pit stops are slowing the tectonic plate in the Kia, aren't they? But
now
that's what the guys at the Nürburgring have to deal with.
Chris Gist 2K10 as the Porsche battle comes to lap Stephen Thomas and Clint Vigas. We get that off. Look at this. The two Porsches trying to get past two Mustangs here. Vigas does a good job of getting out of the way, and Eccles gets by as well. Yeah, to support Chris Gist 2K10's point, I'm always a big advocate of the World Touring Car Championship, but I went off it towards the very end of last season when the touring car rules were just so expensive that only the manufacturers were in it, and even then the entry list was so small. But I'm glad that it's now switched over to TCR, and we've had two great race meetings to start the season at Marrakesh and at the Hungaroring, and it's the Nordschleife that's coming up next. So that'll be great as well in the World Touring Cars. So I think as Gabriele Tarquini said, we're now in a golden age of touring car racing now that this TCR format's come about, and Drew Eccles could be about to get into a golden age of the race.
Murray Walker said, "Oh, it's Tarquini."
What happened?
I must admit, after the contact he had earlier on, Eccles, Ruddock, I really wasn't expecting him to be right on the back of Travis Davis like he is.
Davis is throwing the car at some of the corners, and it's great to see Travis up at the front again. He's been knocking on the door in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Look at him drifting. He's first of all understeer, then oversteer on the exit, and a little bit slow on the exit there as well as Eccles closes in. One of the closest battles we've got on circuit at the moment in this race, and it's for the overall lead.
Been pretty consistent as TD in this race. Lap times are getting fractionally quicker out there. But they're pretty much maintaining, actually, Adam, when you look at it. He started off doing roughly 18 threes, fours. That's what he's doing now.
I think we haven't covered the MX-5s in a while. We'll check in with them. Pit stops are underway for them as well. That is Rob Hartley. We are looking at Rob Hartley, but there is a pit wall in the way. There he is, and you can see he's joined by a few other MX-5s as well. We've got Ryan Tibbetts in the pits and Eric Violet's in the pit. Again for the second time today. So it looks like they're finally rolling the dice as Mike Dam is into the pit lane. Mike Dam into the pits from 4th place. So it looks like we're starting to see the Porsches start to roll the dice as we're 3/4 of an hour into this race.
Is definitely scheduled stop for Mike Dam. Fairly early one, but no problems making it to the end from here. 2 hours 15 minutes you have to cover here. Right,
on his marks, literally hit them spot on. Pole sitting car, of course, so he gets the #1 pit box. That's how it works over here in America. Good video I was watching the other day. I was just going to say, a good video I was watching the other day about what's wrong with NASCAR at the moment, and also I saw an article somewhere that said that NASCAR's about to get bought after, what, 70 years of the France family running, pulling the strings. It could be in the hands of someone else soon.
Is that because they don't want to do it anymore, or is that because they've got a good offer?
Don't know. But yeah, it has been in steady decline.
But I mean, what? Just very quickly then. What was in a nutshell? What did they say was wrong with NASCAR?
Oh, basically, it's all about the aerodynamics, isn't it? The cars are now too low to the ground that they can't get close to one another.
Really?
Yeah, the prognosis or the diagnosis is that that the car should be raised off the ground again, similar to the NASCARs we saw, what, 10, 11 years ago, and that is part of the reason why, part of the...
What you mean, like the COT?
Just before the COT.
Well, just before the COT, those cars were pretty cool looking.
Yeah, they were. But I think there was a video I saw on the internet of even with the COT at Bristol, at the short track at Bristol, Mark Martin was still able to close on Kyle Busch. So yeah,
a spin.
A spin. Where?
Oh no, it wasn't. I thought I heard a noise as if there was a spin, but
yeah, the only thing with this timing software, it picks up everything from off tracks, but if they have a spin, it doesn't show up there unless they go off the track. So yeah, mandatory 4 tyres for the 911s to take. Yeah, I think we said that at the beginning of the show, but yeah, we'll reiterate it again. Yeah, the Porsches have to take 4 tyres in this one, and from looking at how long Mike Dam's pit stop was, 52 seconds, it looks like it's one of those rules where you've got to get the fuel in first before you do any tyre changes.
Yeah, mandatory stop for the Porsches, at least. The other drivers, they get free rein on the pit stops in the other classes. Yeah, it might be that you need to do that. Fuel first. Of course, in a lot of series these days, there's rules about, you know, number of crew members and things. It's a bit like NASCAR in that sometimes they not allowed to touch the car, and you want until the fuel's done and things like that in terms of doing the wheels. You've
just reminded me of speaking of pit stop infringements. There was Blancpain GT series a few weeks back at Zolder. You know, if you're the first pit box, you can go straight. In iRacing, you'd go straight on when you completed your pit stop, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
In the Blancpain GT series at Zolder, there was the Audi was the #1 pit box, and when his pit stop finished, he went straight out of the pit lane because it's like that at Zolder. But there was a whole load of cones in the way, and he got a drive-through penalty because he didn't arc the wheel sharp left and go into the fast lane. He just went straight on, and he got a drive-through penalty for that.
So essentially, what he was safer, so he got a penalty.
Yeah. It's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, not sure. We've got a couple of comments, incidentally, on the NASCAR situation. Andrew Fawcett says the France family is ruining NASCAR. Why is that? That's interesting. Just have a little... it'd be nice to get an explanation on that as to why. I must admit, I used to watch NASCAR every week, but I don't often get to watch the races now. So maybe only see about 3 or 4 races a season.
Another thing for us too is that we've got cable, and there's a channel called Free Sports that shows the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, but it's not on Virgin.
Yeah, I think this. I tell you what would be a big one. If NASCAR was on, okay, it's not free TV like say Sky Sports or Virgin, but yeah, if we had the Monster Energy, is on there.
There's been a crash on the circuit, and it's between 2 cars and 2 different classes. It's Rob Hartley and it's Jennifer McDonald. Now, what's transpired here as we rewind back through the tapes? McDonald's...
Very rare that Rob Hartley makes any mistakes, but let's see what...
I don't think he could have done anything. I don't think he could have done anything about that.
Anything he's done here.
I think he was... Don't know. It was just a coming together.
Look, I see it. Hartley's made a mess of that a little bit.
Right then.
I think he's on the inside, Adam. I think he's tried to carry... I think he might have tried to carry a fraction too much speed into there. I don't know what you see of that. I mean, I think he's going to make the corner, but I think he would have been out to the quite substantially over to the right-hand side. I don't know what you think.
It was... he could have been more to the inside. I'll give him that, Hartley. But yeah, McDonald. I think they just met at the same part of the circuit. I'm being diplomatic here.
A racing incident, then, yeah.
For me, anyway.
Well, I mean, it probably is a racing incident. I probably wouldn't say that. It's a difficult one. I probably wouldn't penalise anybody for it, but I suppose we're up in the commentary box as unbiased announcers, so we have to give our opinion, I guess. But
right then,
I'll tell you, my opinion is, I'll tell you what that is, Adam, and that's that Clint Vigas and Stephen Thomas having a great battle out there in the first. They've done 36 laps already.
Yeah.
The gap between them is less than a second.
Amazing that they're already 6 laps behind the Porsches. By the way, Travis Davis is in. Davis in from the lead. Kevin Shannon, I think, is the only Porsche that hasn't stopped. There he is.
Well, just quickly, something quite important as well as the leader coming in, almost as important, is that the stewards have taken a dim view of Rob Hartley's collision with Jennifer McDonald.
Well, there you go.
And Hartley, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series MX5 champion many times, received a drive-through penalty.
You see, if I was a steward, there'd be no penalties. I'd be like the tie of Arsenal Fan TV, saying
unless it's Lewis Hamilton.
Unless it's Lewis Hamilton's fault, then many penalties will be getting rained down on him. Penalty for this haircut, penalty for just doing anything really. Right then, pit stops have cycled through in the Porsches. It's Drew Eccles that has cycled through and leads the race on lap 42 of the race. Then Travis Davis is in second place, but he's so far behind that we can't even get the battle graphic up. Let's get the graphic. Let's get the timing tower up and showing the gaps. 2.7 seconds then. Then it's 6 seconds back to Brian Strodbeck in third. Then Mike Dam in fourth.
Strodbeck, all that time, didn't he? Just a few laps to go, fighting hard to make that back. Yeah, that 1 minute 30 lap 29, made the mistake.
Struggling to find Clint Vigas on my timing.
Car 17 and 38 are under review as well. 38?
17.
Jennifer McDonald again. 17 is
Josh Martin.
That was
so was that a separate incident?
It was just, well, unless it was the same, unless it meant 71. Oh well, I'm not sure. There wasn't a decision on that one anyway, if it was. Jeff Jacobs is now getting into the 38 car.
That's why I couldn't see Clint Vigas on my timing screen, because he's got out of the car, isn't he? That's what's happened. And as you can see, Tyler Shiflett is now the car that's getting piloted around this circuit.
That's not shabby a replacement, Tyler Shiflett.
Kevin Ford just saying that it's not car 117, not car 17, it's car 58 that's under investigation, and car 58 would be car 58.
Car 58 was Hartley, so it was the same incident then, I guess.
Yeah.
Shiflett comes out of the pits to almost MX5 to the face. Ryan Tibbets.
I think that's what David Hay had on Saturday.
Well, it wasn't an MX5 to the face, but
I reckon it was
a bunch of fives to the face.
It was probably a Ford Mustang, to be fair. If we're going to compare Tony Bellew to any of the cars that we've got in the field, probably would be a Ford
Or
Mustang.
as Tony Bellew called himself, a fat scouser.
There you go.
Let's have a look then. So, we did get some follow-up on the NASCAR question we asked, actually.
Yeah, Talladega 500 down 29%. I saw a clip of the Bristol 500, the night race, towards the end of the season from about 10 or 11 years ago, and it's absolutely packed to the rafters this year. I know it was a rained out Monday night. It was a race that was on Monday, but it did look like a Manchester City game.
Now, the only thing that you've got to say is that got to bear in mind, I did read an article a couple of years ago on NASCAR attendances and things like that, and how they were actually removing seats in a lot of the
Daytona.
venues.
Yeah, the back straight's gone.
But the credit crunch hit NASCAR very hard. I mean, it hit everything hard in terms of, especially things like motor racing, you know, and then it hit NASCAR super hard, and especially the fans, because of course that's the thing. The credit crunch, if you think that it does affect the actual racing teams, of course it does. It does affect the tracks, of course it does, but it affects the pocket of the average fan, doesn't it?
Well,
it affected football attendances. It affected everything was down.
Honda, BMW, Toyota all pulled out in the space of 2 years.
Well, exactly. That's what caused it. There was no. It was like, right, we need to save money. We're not going to do F1 anymore.
Vauxhall Vauxhall's factory effort gone from British touring cars. Seat as well. Their turbo diesel program in the BTCC went after 1 year.
Funny thing is, Vauxhall are probably looking at what Josh Cook's doing at the minute and in themselves a little bit.
It's the way it's going now, isn't it? Because TCR, the World TCR, has banned like a fully fledged manufacturer effort. It's just now the manufacturers selling the cars to the independents to compete. That's how it seems to be going these days.
I do agree, by the way, with the comment. Yeah, and I agree with that too. I do agree with the comment on the chat actually that plate racing is terrible. Yeah, I don't like it, and I know some people absolutely love, you know, the Daytona 500 and Talladega, Pepsi 400 and whatever, but
Pepsi 400, that was a while back, but yeah.
I just don't think, yeah, it probably was. That's showing how long it is since I've probably watched NASCAR, but honestly, it's right. It's luck. It's the luck of the draw. There's a bit of work involved in terms of, you know, getting a good setup that's efficient and things like that. But it's luck of the draw. Finding someone to push you along a little bit at the end, give you a run, and really, having driven on the iRacing Daytona 500 myself on occasions, it real taxing effort for not a lot of reward in terms of, you know, as soon as, I mean, I know from my point of view, as soon as you try and move up the circuit to the front of the field, there's usually a wreck, and then you're caught up in it. So
I love
it's fun to watch. I must admit, it's decent to watch on the TV, and I'll be honest, purely the Daytona 500 is decent to watch.
Yeah, we watch that every year.
Yeah, we do watch that every year because it's the start of a new season, and you know, it's decent to watch. It's interesting, but to be honest, the plate races throughout the year do not interest me one bit.
I love the tandem. I love the tandem racing. I might be on my own there, but there was something that was really special about it for a while. About
I can't decide whether I did or I didn't. You know,
I think.
I did some good tactics in terms of, you know, how long you can push for and how. But what I didn't like was the fact that, I mean, again, it's just team tactics, isn't it? But what I didn't like was, you know, like Gordon and Johnson, for instance, would come in at exactly the same time, come out and one would slow down and wait so they can draft with each other, and it was a bit too coordinated for, you know, a race that where at any other circuit really there's no sort of team. There's not really any sort of correlation between the teammates in situations like that.
It led to a whole raft of rule changes. Before, I think the tandem drafting, that drivers could phone each other up in the same team. So I think Johnson and Jeff Gordon could like speak to each other.
Which is bonkers.
Imagine if Lewis and Nico could have had that. Or imagine if
they'd have spent half the race swearing at each other.
Same with Daniel and Max, I think, recently.
Well, they would just spend half the race swearing at each other anyway, just because that's what they're like. But I don't know. I mean, Josh Martin says it's the same situation as F1. Monaco makes a good spectacle, but it's silly to be racing there. Probably is silly to be racing there, but I mean, there's a lot of street circuits that are a bit daft, aren't they? And I suppose that's. I mean, Monaco is one of the dafter ones, mostly because the circuit's changed very little in 100 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much stayed the same, hasn't it? I think only a few things have changed.
The last sector is different, isn't it?
Since they've brought some land back from the sea.
But everything before the Nouvelle Chicane has been there since 1900 and
yeah, station
whatever,
hairpin.
1920 or something, whatever it.
1923.
Have a look, Monaco Grand Prix.
23 is my guess anyway.
First held in 1929.
Ah, that's 29.
And the
You have another credit
circuit originally, yeah, everything Saint-Devote, Massenet, Casino, Mirabeau, Lowe's Hairpin, Portier, Tunnel, identical. Kane was a fast left-right flick. The back is the same corner, and then there was just a run to a hairpin. It was just a hairpin instead of, like, there wasn't rascasse and things like that. Hairpin. But you know, most of it's the same. And to be honest, for cars racing back then, the speeds that those cars went, probably fine, wasn't it? But yeah, now it's bad daft. But you know what? It's the skill of the driver and things like that, and the skill of the teams to be able to set the cars up for a circuit like that, like no other, of course. And Brian Strodbeck has caught back up.
He has, hasn't he?
Travis Davis, and he might even have a go hit. This is the final part of the lap where very good all the way through the race so far.
Just to bring some closure to the street circuit thing, just one thing I noticed today, there was an article in Autosport magazine about the Mayor of the West Midlands meeting with Alejandro Agag from Formula E about racing around the streets of Birmingham.
The Mayor of the West Midlands?
This is Autosport's
does Birmingham just not have its? Does Birmingham just have its own? Does not have its own mayor? Oh well.
I'll have a look for you, but yeah, this battle for second place.
Who knows about that one?
Pretty exciting, but yeah, hopefully we can get the Birmingham Super Prix back.
Oh, super close between Davis and Brian Strodbeck. What do you make of? So based on the discussion about Monaco and things like that, then. What do you make of Formula One's decision to most likely go to Miami, Florida next year?
I thought the track looked okay. I thought they're trying to replicate what Baku have done, haven't they, with the long straights and stuff like that. But I don't mind another race on the calendar.
From Strodbeck to the outside. Going to try and go around the outside. He is quick here.
Bit of smoke up ahead.
There's a big smoke coming from it must be a blown engine. Eric Violet, that's gone, that engine. And side by side for the lead into the final corner. Davis maintains it through turn 10. He'll stay in front for at least another few corners, Adam. But what that's doing is that's allowing, guess who? Ricmotech Sports Car Champion, Mike Dam.
Looks like
to get back close together, and they're side by side now.
Oh.
Into turn 2. Strodbeck, really the edge of adhesion in this Porsche. This is great racing here between Davis and Strodbeck. We're over the hour mark then in the Ricmotech World Challenge. Say if you're tuning in expecting to see the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, well, there's a break one week every month when this new championship coming into being, mixed class championship. Did you notice there, Adam? Davis had to take a tighter line into the 1, 2, 3, 4, into turn 6 there.
Yeah, he was having to deal with the Mustang, wasn't he? Of course, all these lot are still fighting over second position because Drew Eccles is 5 seconds up the road, so he's leaving these lot to scramble over the seconds.
I would say it's a piece of cake for Eccles.
There you go. We had to get it in there at some point. I was going to see if I could get any tram stops on the Eccles line in Manchester in there, but
oh, and he's been, and that is
2 Mazdas. That's number 8. That's Childs and Tibbets.
And yep, and this is Strodbeck very close, but this does highlight how difficult it is to overtake here at Motorsport.
Tell you what, we've got the best fans here.
We're in Bowmanville, Ontario, Canada here. And Strodbeck,
all 3 of them.
They're all off. Dam's gone as well. Now, This could blow the race wide open.
Well, they don't have to worry because Kevin Shannon's miles away. He's half a circuit away, so these three can
it could blow
regather themselves.
Open. It could blow it open for Eccles. He'll be looking at his relative. He'll see what's happened there. And we need to go back and analyse exactly what did happen, Adam.
Well, the popping candy has been put on the cake. And it's, yeah, let's have a look. Travis Davis then. It all started off, he was out of control, wasn't he?
Lost the rear, didn't he, Strodbeck?
Strodbeck was...
and Mike Dam, who... Yeah, you know what? Dam did pretty well to just...
Slow motion.
In fact, he might not have made any contact, Dam. That was amazing. Because I would have gone... I'll be honest, I would have gone right, and I would have been hammered. Possibly. Because that car, if you see the spinning car, Adam, of Strodbeck, it looked like it was originally going to go to the inside of the corner, and Dam thought that was going to be the case as well. He just changed his mind at the last minute. That was what saved him. But it's looking at the standings now. Black Sheep Motorsports lead by 14 seconds. And then it's Ricmotech Motorsports white, so Travis Davis, but he's got wing damage. Then it's Cryptology Racing orange.
Oh!
Then it's turn 2.
Eccles nearly had a moment himself, going through the back section of the circuit, lapping one of the Mustangs. That was a bit worrying then for him as he laps one of the Mustangs. It's pretty close between Stephen Thomas and Tyler Schiffler, by the way. 0.2 of a second between the two Mustangs. These two have been at it since the word go. They've seemed inseparable, and the two drivers with the very well-known paint schemes, they may have changed it for the World Challenge, I don't know, but the paints that we've got here are very familiar to the sports car series that we show every Monday night, and they're right at the top as things stand.
Well, and
yeah, the contact's under investigation.
Yeah, it goes without saying, exactly. It goes without saying, so we said it anyway. Giuseppe Iannucci's piped up. It's good to see him on the chat, by the way. Saying he loves Baku, complete opposite to every other modern F1 track. You know what? I love Baku as well.
Well done, Baku.
It gives a great race. You know what, Adam? Maybe if I know it's very difficult to do, but if there were maybe 1 or 2 tweaks, small tweaks to the Baku layout, it could be an absolute classic circuit.
It's almost like a mini Macau, isn't it? You've got
Macau's a great comparison.
Got the superly long straights, and then you've got the run through the city, and obviously it's too narrow for F1. In fact, it's probably too narrow for some of the World Touring Car events that they hold there. A lot of traffic jams.
Is it any narrower than Baku in some places though?
Probably not actually. The bit with the castle at Baku, that is pretty narrow.
And the chicanes are quite tight, you know, in the middle part of the lap. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? Kota. Now, Kota, I think, in terms of driving, I don't really enjoy driving it at all. I think it's... And the drive-through penalty, just quickly, speaking of which, car 43, which is Brian Strodbeck, has somewhat expectedly received a penalty for causing a collision.
Yeah, into the pit lane he comes now, Brian Strodbeck, and in fact, fortunately for him, it is a pretty small pit lane, and the pit lane speed limit here isn't too low, so it won't cost him too much time. He'll be back out on the circuit after about 20 seconds.
I think it's one of those things where, going back to Kota, actually, it's not an enjoyable track to drive. I'll be honest, I don't enjoy going there at all. But the racing is brilliant. That track is designed for racing, isn't it? And I think, you know, it's a good racing circuit. But I think that, you know, personally, I'm fed up with tracks where drivers can't where you make a mistake and nothing happens. You know,
Kota could do with some grass around the outside.
What happens if you make a mistake at Baku? You're out of the race.
Yeah.
Usually. Make a mistake at Singapore, you're out of the race. Suzuka, same. No, it's those sort of ones. And even Suzuka's lost some of its danger in terms of, you know, the
130R. Yeah.
tarmacking the areas of. I mean, I understand 130R really. Just because it's that dangerous. If you go off there, I mean, that was happened. Nish's one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, McNish had a huge one. Rob Hartley's jumped to the pits. I don't know why. I hope he hasn't.
Has he had enough? Yeah, looks like he has. Surprising, actually. He was still in second place.
Oh, it must be a driver change, isn't it? Or not? I'm just trying to work out
Doesn't
why.
appear so.
No, okay.
Appear so. Bit of crash.
Don't know. We're one.
I'll have a little look at his last lap back just to see if anything silly happened. Quite a lot of traffic in front of him.
Nathan Thomas having to study for finals, but he's still got the Ricmotech World Challenge on, and good to see Stephen Thomas ahead of Tyler Schiffler. This is our closest battle on the circuit as well.
Drew Eccles has gone off, Adam. Lost a lot of time. Hartley was involved in that. It didn't hit each other, but I wonder if Hartley just thinks,
I've got a replay.
I've had enough of this.
Oh my word! How on earth does he not hit the wall? He does it. Oh, no, you need to have a look at this. If you can't see it on
I have.
How does he not hit the wall?
Yeah, I have seen it, and I thought originally he was going to bury that Porsche in the tyre wall, but unbelievable, really.
Just grabbed the handbrake and was like very, very composed there by Drew Eccles.
I wonder if that's why Hartley, if Hartley's not quite, not quite right. I wonder if she's just not up for it tonight or something. I don't know. Because that smacks of the kind of retirement which says, oh, I think I'm a bit of a danger out there almost. Look at this one. Oh, Iflet, Coffard, Davis, they're all in a big battle together. Sorry, Thomas, Schiffler and Coffard.
Yeah, this is the battle for 7th place overall, but this is the battle for the Mustang lead. I believe it is, yes. Yeah, as the camera quickly flicks to Russell Ruddock. Thomas doing a very good job, as most of the chat is alluding to, and most people rooting for them as well. Steve Brown into the pits again. That is his second visit to the pits. He was in very early on in the race earlier.
Should get him home from here. It'll be close. But he must have realised that it's okay.
Because we've got 58 minutes to go here.
Josh Martin was saying, Adam, that Poe would be a good track for GT TCR.
Now,
that's got some tight corners in it.
When the World Touring cars went to Poe, they had to put a yellow line in at the hairpin because it was just so tight, and there was a crash there that caused a red flag because of a track blockage. But they haven't been there12 the safety car disaster in 2009. But
Franz Engstler, was it?
Franz Engstler, yeah, versus the local police car driver. That's how the legend goes.
Play him there, isn't it?
It was annoying actually because I did want Franz Engstler to win that one, being a Beamer man. In the end, it was just Alan Menu with his typical reverse grid tactics, and he ended up winning it.
We saw Alan Menu last couple of weekends ago, didn't we?
Yeah, he's a driver mentor. Who's he mentoring again? I can't remember.
Ash Sutton, isn't it?
He is Ash Sutton's mentor, yeah. Because
I don't believe so. Anyway, that's. I mean, I don't think he'd be telling Jason Plato how to do it.
Well, it's the BMR team, isn't it? Oh. And I think many moons ago...
He used to drive for them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Back in the days when they were Chrome Restart or whatever they were called. A team that was raced in the BSRTC for a little bit.
Indeed.
Now that was
good to see Alan Menu back for the brief time he was back, actually. Just quickly though, this is just a question I think needs to be asked. I mean, I thought I was a big touring car man until I met you, but you're the one who knows really. Why not NGTC? Why TCR?
What? Why is TCR more popular?
Well, why? Yeah, why is that not what the World Touring Cars went to? when it changed over. Why TCR? What's so good about TCR?
I think the positives about TCR is that it can be used in quite a lot of series now. They're popping up all over the place, and after one,
so it's more value for money essentially.
Yes, basically after one season you can sell it on to another team as well. The money keeps going with it as well. I think with NGTC, when it took over, Super 2000 was on its arse basically. I was watching the 2010 review today, and it was down to about 16 cars by the end of 2010, and NGTC is obviously proven to be very successful in British touring cars. But we'll wait and see what TCR UK is going to do. It had an okay start at Silverstone a few weeks back. It's at Knock Hill this weekend, so we'll wait and see how successful that series grows to be. But in terms of how it impacts the impact that it's had for the WTCR, it's revitalised the series.
Go then, and I think motorsport's healthy when touring cars is healthy. So we were at the British Touring Car Championship last weekend as well.
And it's still in a good bit of health, isn't it?
It was a fantastic race meeting, and there was a big crowd there, despite the fact that the weather was rubbish.
If only it was it. Why couldn't it have been this weekend?
Oh man, if it had been the weekend before,
or the weekend
27
after.
degrees.
Yeah.
If it had been the weekend after, we'd have had 27 degrees. Got a battle here. Oh no, it's not a battle because they're 4 laps apart. Dave Fitzgerald and Jeff Jacobs. I thought they were fighting out on the circuit, but
yeah, we'll give them a bit of love, because I think we have been focused on Tyler Shiflett and Stephen Thomas for about the last four laps. But yeah.
Buligan Racing or Bueligan Racing, I'm not sure which one it is.
And Jeff Jacobs, Team Street Survival, and I think that's all he's doing at the moment.
Really been having to, isn't it?
TCR
collision that was after being hit by the MX-5 earlier on.
Oh no, we've got another Mustang battle here. This is Chris Torman versus Steve Brown. Now Brown was into the pits a few laps back. Notice that we do seem to be having cars blinking in and out with different paints. So I've just had it with trading paints, to be honest with you. But Chris Torman, and Steve Brown were separated by 0.3 of a second. So there are 2 close battles going on the circuit here. And thanks to Andrew Fawcett, TCR is used in the Continental Tyre Series here in the States. Didn't know that.
No.
I think touring car racing hasn't really taken off in the States. So remember that anyway. Remember when
weird that, isn't it? Would have a great. If you made an American Touring Car Championship the same as what the BTCC is, but you have things like a Ford Mustang NGTC or a TCR car, or you have like a Chevy or it'd be great, wouldn't it? Or is that just what GT3 racing is for these days?
Well, when the World Touring Car Championship went to Sonoma a few years back, this was supposed to be like them showing America what touring car racing was all about, and then there wasn't really much of it, really. China is...
The problem you've got is they went to Sonoma.
Yeah, and it was the Sonoma layout, which I don't think lended itself to... Charlie Whiting, actually, in fact, was the one that picked the layout, but I think he should have just done the NASCAR Cup Series layout rather than picking the full twisty carousel and layout like that, personally, anyway.
Yeah, because for me, we've seen races there, and it just doesn't work for overtaking.
It's not even
work for overtaking at all, really, does it?
It's not even one of those circuits like Barber where you see the drivers forcing their way through. It's just very difficult to get anything done.
Nobody can get close. Nobody can overtake. It's difficult. And the NASCAR Cup layout is a tremendous layout. So much fun in any car, really. It's we've raced it on many sims and iRacing in smaller, slower cars. Great layout that, with the full hairpin as well, which I understand they can't use for things like IndyCar because there's no runoff area, but with the full hairpin, that's an overtaking opportunity down there.
Yeah. Andrew Force is saying that.
Are you surprised by the way that there maybe haven't been more overtakes into the final section here? I mean, I suppose the only obstacle to that is the fact there's not that much of a braking area. That's
it. We have, well, in our days of the BSRTC, we've we've seen a lot of overtakes going into that final sector. Some of them going better than others, especially from world champions. Yeah, I think the main amount of overtaking today has been I think it's actually been going into that final sector, hasn't it?
Well, the most famous one that we've seen there in the BSRTC was two guys with Wojciech Svidovic and Kip Stevens, two guys who currently have 5 titles between them.
Yeah.
Crashing into each other and ending effectively both their championship hopes.
Right.
And in Pirelli World Challenge as well is I believe is TCR used there as well. Does the Kia Optima still run in that series? That's the question. It do.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
At least 2016, I think.
We'll wait for when this bit appears on the stream to see if we get a response. We'll show the class leaders a bit of love now. We have been looking at the battles for the last few laps, but here's a state of play. We'll run you through in reverse order. Tom Rathje is leading the way in the Mazda MX-5 class. Rob Hartley hasn't been seen in a while. He might be back on the track actually, but yeah, it is Tom Rathje leading the way in the Mazda MX-5 class. Leading the way in the Mustangs, it is that battle between Stephen Thomas and Tyler Schiffler. The gap has gone out a bit now to 1.6 seconds, but that is the state of play there. And in the Porsches, it's Drew Eccles, after that great opening pit stop, that's leading the way. 6 seconds over Travis Davis, as we've got Shannon and Ruddock, 2 Porsches, into the pits for a second time, with just over 3/4 of an hour to go.
Seeing Rathje's times, quite a bit of inconsistency there, but that's because basically he's had to get out of the way quite a lot for faster classes in the MX-5. Funny thing is, the MX-5 handles very well in the slow stuff. The match for any of the cars really here, but yeah, it's just way down on power compared to the Porsche. The Mustang eventually outpowers it once it gets going.
Just to mention about the overlay, we do have an overlay for the World Challenge, but Alex Simpson, our colleague, couldn't get it to me, so that's why we can't split it between the classes. But next time the World Challenge is in action, we should have it. We should have it for that. But if you want to look in terms of overall positions, our Porsche leaders in position 1, our Mustang leader is in P7, and then our Mazda leader is in position 15. And in fact, we can get the surnames up for you in 4 now, so you can.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying, I guess, that we don't have it, but it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. I
guess.
Didn't anticipate how early Alex went to bed. Plus, I didn't anticipate that I wouldn't be able to get it anyway. But didn't expect.
Yeah. Now we'll have the full names up. That'll definitely help a little bit.
Can have some of the team names up if we can get them up. There you go. Some of them just about fit on the screen. Black Sheep Motorsports leading the way. Then it's Ricmotech
Thomas is in the Thomas is in the pits, so at least he was. Even Thomas had just emerged from the pit lane, it looks like.
Yeah, he has. He had a 15.9 second stop, so a pretty quick one. If you compare it to the opening pit stops, which were like 35 seconds, then yeah, no tyres then, I'm guessing. Maybe just a bit of fuel.
Not at all, really. Another driver change to tell you about. So that's a couple. Alex Coffard has got into the 64 HJ Motorsports Ford a while ago, obviously, but we haven't actually managed to cover them at all. George D'Angelo is in car 7 now as well, the Get Wrecked racing car. Hasn't been a bit wrecked. Bobby Childs is in for the Friday Nights, that's number 8.
There he is. He's up 2 positions. He was just following Stephen Thomas then.
Russell Ruddock's in for Mike Ruddock at Flying Tortoise. Still one of the best team names, I think.
You know, Smithers, I think I'll donate $1 million to the local orphanage. When it's not when tortoises fly, it's when pigs fly. But yeah.
We still be donating the money? No.
It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good.
It's one of those. It's very much. I always get that one confused with "I'll be happier with the dollar."
Oh, that's Happy Dude, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Send $1 to Sorry Dude. Well, that's good. Now, Travis Davies just putting another lap on Kevin Shannon. That's Backseat Motorsports 2 Porsche. Doesn't seem like the incident's really affecting TD's
No.
straight line speed on there. Yeah, even though he's got a bent rear wing now. Contact.
Into the pit lane comes Mike Dam from 3rd place, 2nd pit stop of the day. 52 seconds the first one was. Russell Ruddock's 2nd pit stop in his Porsche was, oh well, the Team Ruddock pit stop was just 15 seconds. So we'll see what Mike Dam does in terms of pit stop time. Strodbeck goes through into 3rd place. Of course, he had to serve a pass through the pit lane after his part in the 3-car collision that we saw earlier. Not too dissimilar to what we saw on Sunday in the MotoGP race at Jerez. 21
always
seconds.
Collisions there's always some collisions at Jerez, isn't there? Really?
Mike Dam then resumes in 4th position. He's 20 seconds behind Brian Strodbeck, but everybody else is still yet to pit, who is in front of him. So if he puts his foot down, who knows where he could get. 2nd place has surely got to be the aim, but he is currently sitting 40 seconds behind. So we'll wait and see where he shapes up after everybody else comes in to serve their stop.
And I was going to suggest, I think we should take an advert break. So we need to thank the sponsors as well.
The Ricmotech guys, yep.
Guys at Ricmotech, Frank and Co. They're great sim racing products. Have a look at those. Check out ricmotech.com. Here's a little teaser of what you should expect from that.
Okay. Into the final 42 minutes of the opening race of the season here in the Ricmotech World Challenge Series here on Apex Racing TV. Adam Bath and Andrew Woodhouse along with you for the ride here in what's been a interesting opening race to the season. Feels strung out a bit now, so we can run you through how things stand as we get the timing table up for you on the left-hand side, and we'll run you through who's who and who's in which class. Drew Eccles then leads the way. There he is. He's 7.8 seconds ahead of Travis Davis. Then 3rd position is Aaron Strodbeck. Strodbeck had to serve a drive-through penalty for a part in a three-car collision in the Porsche category earlier on in the race. Mike Dam sits in 4th position, leader and pole sitter at 1 point. And then we've got Russell Ruddock sat in 5th, and the last of the Porsches, Kevin Shannon, in 6th. Then we move on to Tyler Shiflett, who currently sits in 7th position. He is the leader in the Mustang category. Second, Stephen Thomas, 27 seconds behind him. Shiflett is yet to serve his 2nd pit stop in the Mustang class. That's why so far ahead. Steve Brown in 3rd. Then it's Chris Torman 4th. And then Dave Fitzgerald sat in 5th with Matt Catila in 6th position. There he is. He's 0.3 of a second behind Dave Fitzgerald, so a good battle there in the Mustang class. Alexandra Coffard, another Mustang that's just a little bit further back, along with Christopher Ost. Travis Venke is into the pits in the Mazdas. He is the supposed to be the Mazda leader as he gets back into the car, taking over from Tom Rathje. Those two have done an exceptional job so far and have got a pretty comfortable lead after the demise of Rob Hartley. Childs, then it's Tibbets, Jacobs. You can see Hartley there out of the race. Eric Violet also out. 2 cars out of the race. It's those two. Both Mazda MX-5s. Andrew Woodhouse, not long to go then, and final pit stops just starting to take place in the 3 classes that we've got here.
Yeah, we're into the business end, aren't we, here in the Ricmotech World Challenge. Just about 40 minutes to go, haven't we? Been good so far. It's been a lot closer than I expected when we turned up to the race meeting tonight. But those qualifying times really did come to bear in terms of the competitiveness out there. But it's just a bit unfortunate that we had that 3-car collision, really, because it's just broken that field apart somewhat. It is a shame, really. Hopefully it isn't too dead yet, because that was one of the closest battles. We can go back to this battle now in the Mustangs between Matt Catila and Dave Fitzgerald. It's slightly artificial because Catila has pitted twice. Dave Fitzgerald has only pitted once, so at least that's what the timing screens tell me anyway. So that's the state of play there. Well, the Ford Mustangs, looks like it's split apart as well. Shiflett leads the way from Thomas. But where are they in relation to each? In fact, Thomas is in. Shiflett hasn't pitted yet for a second. We'll be doing soon, surely, though.
Hard to tell, yeah. You can see on the positions gained on the left-hand side of the screen. Great job from Eccles so far for a few positions, and quite a few other drivers as well. Quite a few have stayed in the same position, the likes of Ruddock and Shannon, both staying in the same position where they started the race. Has been a lonely existence, I think, for those two. I think Ruddock had a spin earlier, which didn't help proceedings for him.
What do we think in terms of this track, in terms of how difficult it is to keep your concentration up? I always ask this question no matter which track we go to, but one that we were saying before the race looks quite simple on paper, but actually is quite challenging when you're down to the nuts and bolts of it.
I think it's one of those tracks where no 2 laps are the same, are they? Because you've got those downhill left-handers and right-handers as well that are very difficult to get right on more than one occasion, especially with how the track is changing during the course of the race. That's one thing that's one cap in iRacing's feather in iRacing's cap. Sorry, getting the phrases confused.
All right, it is 2:45 AM. It's fine.
Yeah, brain thinking ahead of mouth, basically. it is one feather in iRacing's cap that they do have with this dynamic track. I know a few other games claim to have it, but in terms of the build-up of marbles, you can see it here on the stream as well, how dark the inside line is, the racing line is around the circuit. You can see how that's built up over the course of the last 2 hours or so.
And it'll also increase the surface temperature a little bit on the racing line too. Got to be careful actually for the marbles, haven't you? Around here massively, because especially in something like turn 2, they'll just get absolutely flung off to the right hand side, and that'll be dangerous because it's already dangerous if you run a bit wide there. We haven't seen anybody off there yet though, have we? One car off, but that was on the inside of the corner.
I haven't seen too much in the ways of any cars off, really. The drivers have been impeccably behaved. Kevin Ford, the race steward, hasn't had to do much in terms of dishing out the penalties.
Or 2 penalties, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, it's been pretty decent. The get out there. Tyler Shiflett comes through the final corner. Yet again, he doesn't come into the pits. He did. Clint Vigas brought the car in at the end of lap 37. On lap 68. So one would assume an even strategy, Adam, would bring him in about 6 or 7 laps' time. For a splash, maybe.
Which one are we talking about here? Sorry?
Shiflett.
Sorry, Shiflett, yeah. He is the, just looking at the Mustangs that haven't pitted, he's one of, what, Torman and Coffard as well, but 1 or 2 or 3 that are yet to start. Mike Dam's disappeared, he's back again, was heart and mouth stuff then for a moment then. We're gone again, but yeah, he's carrying on, but yeah, Shiflett, I reckon he could be timing this to perfection here. We've still got, what, 34 minutes to go. In terms of a normal Ricmotech Sports Car Series race, we're not even at the halfway stage in that yet. But in terms of how long we've got left. But yeah, we'll wait and see what Shiflett does. He could come in from any time from now, really, as he puts a lap on the car behind. That's
I take it that
it's Jeff Jacobs.
I think it's impossible to get to the end here, surely, for Shiflett. There's another half an hour to go.
When did Shiflett come in? He came in on
37.
Yeah, so he's and we're now what, on lap? Well, I know that the Porsches are on lap 77, but the Mustangs are on
75, isn't it? Something. Been good laps again though. The last couple of laps seem to go through a bit of a dodgy phase with the tyres. I say dodgy. He's on a hang on, blown engine, is it?
Is it Jeff Jacobs?
Jeff Jacobs blown the motor, yeah.
Let's have a look. We're riding on board with him.
Popped, didn't it?
We're about to hear the mother of all explosions.
Jeff. There'll be no survival there. Great. Real shame for them, for Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald.
So now I'm on board with Tyler. Oh, there he goes. Boom! Massive explosion. And that is the end of proceedings for Jeff Jacobs today. Bit of a shuddering halt.
Speaking of massive explosions, right? In the break, I saw that somebody had posted a repost that video from the 2011 V8 Supercar Series where there was a crash at the back of the field in.
Oh, but they hit the fuel cell, didn't it?
And it
yeah.
went up. It went up into an inferno.
Now V8 Supercars have tweaked the car since then to stop incidents like that happening. Because in the same season you had David Reynolds' I think it was Dave Reynolds. It might have been actually someone else. I think it might have been actually someone else at Bathurst, where the car flew off into the tyre barrier and fuel went all over the circuit. And oh, into the pits comes Eccles, our race leader in.
I've never seen. I mean, you know, I happened to be watching that video about 5 minutes ago. But yeah, crazy. I've never seen such an explosion like that on a racing circuit. But
apart from NASCAR were able to do it artificially, of course, when Juan Pablo Montoya crashed into the back of a jet dryer. But
oh, Juan Pablo, yeah.
A perfect metaphor for his entire NASCAR career.
I'll say that Montoya,
yeah.
Montoya could, in another, you know, in an alternate reality, could have been one of the greatest drivers to ever go down in the history of motorsport. Because I mean, he is very good. You know, if he'd have taken that Formula One title in 2003, won, you know, some races in NASCAR because he missed out on. Already the IndyCar champion, could have won it again.
Yeah, nearly did, didn't he? Yeah.
Very nearly won it. In Champ Car, wasn't he, originally, I think?
Yep.
Yeah, what a career. What a career it has actually been. And it could have been an outstanding, you know, one of the best careers in the history of motor racing if he'd have taken like I say, probably those 2 titles, which were pretty close. I mean,
what's happened?
Christian Ost very nearly lost it ahead of Travis Davis. Just taken the lead back.
Yeah, because he's yet to stop, isn't he? Eccles has been in.
He's very nearly out. I don't know about in the lead.
Strodbeck in from 2nd position. This should give 2nd place to Eccles. If you think about it, if we go through Juan Pablo's F1 career, 2001, from memory, he could have won more. He probably should have won more than 1 race. But A, he kept stalling, and B, the BMW engine wasn't that reliable back then.
It was only 31 points in his first season.
I think he was on pole. He was on pole at Germany. His engine blew. He was on pole at Spa and he stalled. Yeah, there were a few things that just went against him that year. But 2002, he bounced back. Of course, had that famous rivalry with Michael Schumacher.
Had 12 pole positions or something, didn't he? 2002. Had a lot of them anyway. He had at least sort of 7 or 8 pole positions. I just remember that he seemed to have a really good run at Indianapolis every year in the IndyCar, in the NASCAR, and yeah, always seemed to be something that went wrong. There was a drive-through penalty or something daft like that.
For speeding at Indy. Remember that one? Remember he was leading comfortably with about 10 to go at Richmond in about 2015, but then a caution came out and he got done on a restart. So. It just went against him, really. Giuseppe Iannucci, Montoya's beast. In the period where no one passed in F1, he made passes happen. You could almost say he's the Daniel Ricciardo of, or Daniel Ricciardo's the Juan Pablo Montoya of the present day, or he's a bit nicer. I wonder what would happen if Daniel Ricciardo got hit in the head by a cameraman. I wonder what he'd say there. Don't know if you've seen that video, have you?
Probably buy the cameraman a drink.
You broke my in-head. That's what Montoya said. If you've seen that video, is on YouTube.
Oh dear.
Oh.
That was here. What was that here, or was that Road Atlanta? Where was it?
Oh, where he gets hit with the cameraman in the head.
The oh dear.
Oh, that's Austria. That was at the
Austria.
That was at the old A1 ring. Yeah, where he said
Didn't someone have an incident with an animal at this track?
This track.
At Road Atlanta. Can't remember. It was a similar circuit.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Like a horse with horns. I know, right? True though, in the period where no one passed in F1, he made passes happen. That is true. Yeah, because anyone who says F1 was better then, probably wrong, because there wasn't that much overtaking. I loved F1 back then as well, but racing wise, a lot of it. So it's, you know, it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? on about it.
There was still the occasional classic back then, but
oh yeah, but
yeah.
very few in terms of, you know, the only real classic races you got were the ones that, you know, artificially manufactured, like the wet races and the
Silverstone 03. Well, that was because of safety cars, wasn't it?
Silverstone 03 because an idiot ran on the circuit. So Nürburgring '99 was weather. Do you have any dry classic races though, really, from that sort of time?
Monza '98 was epic, but is this in your criteria? Travis Davis is in from the lead.
I don't. The only problem is I don't remember it very well. I'll check that one later on. But there was some good. To be fair, there were some good ones in '97. But I don't know if they count as classics though. That's the thing.
We've got Jennifer McDonald and Kevin Ford ready to chat to us. Sorry, Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald to chat to us in a moment. We'll get them in a minute. First of all, we need to see where Travis Davis is going to emerge from his pit stop.
See them. PD. Oh, I tell you what, it's not far away.
Gap's come down, hasn't it?
Through Eccles, just coming through turn 1.
Oh,
and
that's close.
Mike Dam's going to go through here.
Right then, we've got a race on our hands all of a sudden. 2 seconds between first to third, with 24 minutes to go here. So, bring it on. Right then, we do have
Mike Dam pitted on lap 67. Sorry.
Yeah. We've got Jennifer McDonald and Jeff Jacobs waiting to talk to us. 2 drivers that have been in the race, and the race ended for Jeff Jacobs with a blown engine. But he does join us now.
Well, hey there, Adam. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing well. I think we're unusually awake. I think at 3 o'clock in the morning, but
yeah.
Wow.
Good morning.
Just about, yeah. But yeah, unfortunately the engine blew. But yeah, tell us about how the race went for you.
Oh, great. You know, this is such a fun track to run on. I'm glad we kicked off the season here, and yeah, we ran the Mustang as long as we could. You know, when you get that front end damage, you just never quite. Even if you take the repairs, is it going to fully repair that front radiator? And it pretty much just ran it as long as we possibly could, hoping it would go till the end, and just logged laps. But a little bit off the pace, I think, with the compromised aerodynamics in the front. And but Jen, I mean, did a terrific job, particularly 55 minutes there of really clean racing, and just had that little incident in corner 4. And that was enough to make a difference, but still really enjoyed the laps we got to turn here.
Even with the damage, is there a way of checking to see if the engine temps are still going up after that damage?
It will show you that on the digital readout that's on the dashboard of the car. I don't happen to have my monitors configured that would have allowed me to go down and take a look at that. And I know some folks will use a software package maybe to keep some of that data up on their screen. So might be worth looking into, because you're right, you do have the option when you start to see it overheating to back off, let the motor cool down a bit, and then go back at it.
And Jennifer McDonald, your co-driver, joins us as well. How was the opening stint? Because you were in the thick of the action as well.
Yeah, I had a real good start to the race. I got off a little in the grass a few laps in, but it's a little further back, then kind of caught back up. Unfortunately, I had that incident with the Mazda going into Moss Corner there, coming down the hill.
Well, he took a penalty for that. Did Rob Hartley? It looked like he probably tried to carry a little bit too much speed in there, but yeah, it looked like it was quite plain sailing for you up until that point. It must be a little bit disappointing that's kind of started the downward spiral for you.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a fun stunt though, and I know Rob just kind of a little bit out there. I think the car just drifted out on him, so it happens.
Obviously, this race 2 hours 15 minutes. Is it much more different from racing the hour and a half that we have in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series?
Well, Jennifer,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I think one of the neat options here is to have that co-driver. It allows you to split it up into an hour, and then essentially an hour and 15 minutes, for the other driver or so. And I thought that was a neat option. It gives us an opportunity to work together, and it adds to the fun, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. Also, it gives some more options for pit strategy during the race, too. We saw that a little bit early on with Stephen Brown, I think.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Steve Brown, very early pit stop. Currently sat in 9th position now, so it looks like it's worked out for him. It's gained him 1 position. Guys, the battle for the lead is really exciting at the moment. Dam and Eccles are within a few tenths of a second of each other, so we'll leave it there. But well done on tonight, and unfortunately it didn't go the way you wanted. But yeah, well, hopefully we'll get to chat to you two again, either in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series or at the next World Series race, which will be at Virginia.
Hey, absolutely. And yeah, the consolation prize is that we're going to get to see this great battle play out between these front three and the Porsche. It looks like a really exciting finish to this race.
Yeah, gap just over a second. But yeah, Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald, thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us.
You too. We'll see you next time.
There you go. And yeah, Mr. Woodhouse, we've got a scrap on our hands here. Just over 1 second separating the top three. And Mike Dam, I think he wants this win now.
How good is this, eh? We've been racing for nearly 2 hours, and Drew Eccles leads, Mike Dam second, Travis Davison. You got to give. I mean, you got to give them all credit. All three of these drivers done the entire race. Can we go on board with Mike Dam, Adam? See what he sees?
Yeah, let's do it.
Going to be an awful lot of rear wing of Drew Eccles' car, you would think. And how good's Eccles been, considering he had that contact early on with Ruddock?
Oh, it's very, very close there as they went down the hill. Off into the right-hander, the complex at the top of the hill.
Because that right side damage that he's got cannot be.
You think
he would definitely won't be helping him out there, surely.
You think it'd be affecting the car, but it doesn't seem to be doing too much at the moment. Now we'll see as we go down the front straight. Can we get a live speed up actually for them? Here they go.
He got a terrific exit. Really, really good exit did Drew Eccles. Look at the closing speed there, dear me. Oh, now he's gone a bit wide, Adam. This could be a chance.
An ultimate corner. 3 tenths of a second. I think he's just a bit too far behind to get it done this time.
How Dam's working the wheel. It's not easy for him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tremendous stuff. I suppose it was interesting to see to hear what Jeff Jacobs had to say in terms of yes, you can split the race up into 2 parts. Obviously, I know it seems like a really obvious statement, doesn't it? But Davis and Dam and Eccles haven't been able to do that.
They've had to go right from the word go, and after that crash that we saw just at the very corner that we've been through now, they've had to get back into the game here, and credit to Mike Dam, he was about 10 seconds, maybe even more than that behind Eccles at one point, and now it's just 2 tenths of a second behind.
In fact, all the first 4 Porsches been one-manned tonight, so well done to all the drivers out there who are doing that.
Yeah, I don't think too many of the WEC drivers did stints at this length. What's happened?
Giuseppe Iannucci just pointed out on the chat that it was Cristiano D'Amata that hit a deer at Road America.
Oh dear. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Testing an Indy car. Yeah, exactly that. 2005, Schumacher at Imola was one of the best races ever. Yeah, indeed it was. Fernando Alonso won that one.
Yeah, I was cheering for the opposite team, but that was a really good one. That was the same race where BAR got banned for 2 races because they
out, didn't they? Yeah,
for using fuel as ballast. Yeah.
Now, of course, that's known for following year being a titanic battle that went the other way. It went to the German.
Yeah, it did. The last San Marino Grand Prix, in fact, 2006.
Think it'll ever go back there?
I hope so. I reckon the track's suitable now for F1 racing. That front straight would be brilliant.
Is it a bit short? As in, will we see like an hour and 10-minute race if we go there?
It was what? Well, I remember. I was just going through the.
It used to be a 63-lap race, a 60-lap race. Didn't it?
Yeah, 60-lap race. But do you remember India when we went to India back in 2013? The races there were about an hour and 10 minutes. It was so quick around there. But yeah, I reckon
that was a nice track. I thought. I wasn't, I know some people didn't like it, but thought it was quite good.
And off goes Eccles, and through goes Dam.
Mike Dam into the lead then. After 2 hours, Canadian gets to the front at Canadian Tire.
Now we're going to see what Drew Eccles can do.
Oh, no, and speaking of off, Steve Brown very nearly went there. TD struggling to keep up as well in P3. Mike Dan might be saying T-he. Goes through and into the lead. Was on pole position, of course, Adam, and it seemed like it really wasn't going his way, especially when two leaders crashed into each other and he still ended up going off.
Getting pretty close now, though, isn't it? I wonder if he could start to get pulled in a little bit now.
The car in front, which is Kevin Shannon,
getting out the way.
Black Sheep Motorsports 2. So no assist there from Shannon or Eccles. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with staying in front of the third place driver for a couple of corners, maybe, if he wants.
Eccles ran off again.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Eccles ran off again for that final corner there, so kicked up the dust again. And
oh, he's suffering now, isn't he? He's got dirty tyres.
Do you reckon it's that damage that could be putting a bit more pressure on the tyres? They've got to make a mandatory change.
Maybe, but again, they've probably double stinted. They've got to take the tyres, haven't they? Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, don't know. I mean, it might be down to the fact that he's suddenly started pushing maybe a little harder if he's having to play catch up. But how many times have we got to this stage of a race, even in the hour races, and this is when Mike Dam just decides, right, I've had it with this, so I'm going to win.
Well, he's already just got to nearly a 1.5 second buffer already. Sooner or later, that 3-car battle you can see on the graphic in the bottom right, that's going to become just a 2-car scrap sooner or later. But yeah, Dam turned it on.
Dam pitted on lap 36. He also pitted on lap 67. So, yeah, he'll make it. Delete. I think, provided they've put enough in. That's another thing. Fuel could be an issue for these guys and girls at the end of the proceedings.
Could well and truly be, especially if we get an unexpected extra lap as we look at a few replays of Alex Coffard pushing things with the track limits.
How many times has that happened? You know, I mean, that we've seen. And we used to cover the IMSA Sports Car Series on the channel, and the amount of times races were decided by fuel or a lack of it at the end of the race were quite substantial. So
where's John Allen when you need him?
Where is John Allen? Yeah, exactly.
Lap 92 of the race. We've got just over 10 minutes to go here, so it looks like we are gonna surpass the 100 lap barrier here. Something that Wolverhampton Wanderers couldn't do, even though they were playing against bottom of the table Sunderland. I thought I'd just get that in there. And Mike Dam, new fastest lap of the race. There's nothing stopping
you what, you wouldn't have. Sorry, but like 2 years ago, you wouldn't put money on Sunderland being League One and Wolves being in the Premier League. 2 years later, that would have got you a hell of a lot of money, I reckon.
Fortunately, my bet.
Wolves were in League One not so long ago.
My bet from bet from Christmas didn't materialise in the end, of Birmingham to be relegated, Villa to be promoted. But oh well. Mike Dam, fastest lap of the race, 17.6. He's found the pace when it really mattered.
Sorry, you've still got a chance to go up, haven't you?
He's still got a chance to go up, but yeah, the bet was Birmingham to be relegated and us to get promoted in the same bet. But yeah, I'll be there. The playoff semi-final home leg is next Tuesday for the so-called the richest prize in football.
But against who? Sorry.
We got the Borough. We got Middlesbrough on the first leg's on Saturday. The second leg Tuesday.
Go. That's who gets to play in the Premier League next season, and that is a rich prize as they're 3 wide with the leader down the main straight. To the Mayor Motorsports car as well, Tyler Schiffler. He's desperately trying to chase down Stephen Thomas. He's going off in his attempts to try and get through. Incidentally, we need to talk about incidents. Yes, the most of them goes to Christian Ost and George D'Angelo. Between them, have garnered what looks like 32. Is it?
You'll probably know more than me. I can't see the incident limit. Well, I can't see the incident.
Oh no, it's a total and then a number, isn't it? Sorry. So they've gained. Oh, so between them, it's 16. 16 for them. 13 for the HD Motorsport board of Alex Coffard and Justin Hall. And then there's and then 11 for Drew Eccles, 11 for Brandon Whitworth, 10 for Tyler Schiffler. 0 incident races incidentally here, Ken. Stephen Thomas, 0. Matthew Katila, 0. That's pretty good. Chris Torman, just 1. Steve Brown, just 2.
Well done.
Very good. Very good. There's a few 3s out there as well. Kevin Shannon. Jennifer McDonald. Jeff Jacobs, just 2 as well.
I guess it's a track away. If you don't go off, you're going to be okay in terms of incident points because, yeah, if you keep it on the island, you'll be doing okay.
Yeah, Tom Rathje 0 as well. 4 for them in total.
Right,
very good indeed. How many laps do you think we'll get then?
It's about a 75-second lap, and we've got 9 minutes to go. So,
how many minutes?
9 minutes.
9 minutes, 75 seconds. 5:40 is.
Oh, here he comes.
1, 2, 4, 7, isn't it?
Travis Davis.
Oh man.
He's got the rear damage. Eccles has got the front damage. Davis wants this runners-up spot as we close in on the finish here.
Yeah, he really wants P2, doesn't he? Travis Davis. Of course, TD's Tree Service is a sponsor of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. If he can... Oh, Eccles! Oh, wow.
Oh, heck.
He very nearly came a cropper there, did Drew Eccles. Like it's only a matter of time for TD, Adam.
Yeah, not too far away is Travis Davis, just like I'm not too far away from Eccles in the United Kingdom.
Eccles has done a great job.
Oh, that's a very bad line for both of them.
Oh, and he's round! TD nearly throws it all away.
Now, that was just, I think, a bad line from both of them, and it was just unfortunate for Dam that he ended up with the most amount of wheels on the grass. Let's have a look at it again.
Very unfortunate, just a split sliding. Both of them were.
Got to say, it wasn't even an off track for them, so I can't even rewind back. So, We did see it, so yeah, we saw it. So I don't think we need to go back and have a look at the replay. But yeah, that is probably crucial then in the battle for second place. We've got less than 7 minutes to go now, and 1 lap 97.
And the saving grace for Davis is that it only cost him about a second, so that battle will be joined once again.
Situation then with just over 5 minutes to go. Dam leads the way in the Porsches. 7th place is Stephen Thomas. He leads the Mustangs, and it is Travis Schwenke. There he is. We haven't really spoken much about the Mazdas at all today. They were in 15th. He's in 15th place and the Mazda leader. Again, we all have the class filter for the timing tower sorted for the next race meeting. It's Eccles.
Yeah, he very nearly went into Christian Ost. Close. Now,
back in
here comes Davis again. Davis trying round the outside in the last sector at him. He's already caught him. He's already trying to pass him.
On board from the nose of Travis Davis as we come out of the final corner. Over the line we go.
Sorry.
See what he can do then.
Battle.
Much tighter line on the exit there by Davis. Strodbeck into the pit lane. Something's happened late on. Sorry.
Who's in, sorry?
Strodbeck from 4th. Fastest lap of the race, Mike Dam as well. He's just nothing stopping him. It's just that new fastest lap.
And dash for Strodbeck. Who's the fastest lap, sorry?
Mike Dam.
Wow. That's a 1:17.5.
He's giving them a damn good thrashing, isn't he?
Well, he is in the last part of the race, certainly. Mike Dam, brilliant performance. Here comes Travis Davis again then. How can Drew Eccles stave Travis Davis off here? What can he do, Adam, to keep him behind?
I don't think
he can.
I think Davis is trying to perfect this move, and he might just have done it here. That's very close.
Oh wow, we almost had another collision. They've already hit each other once.
Oh, that's a great cutback.
It is indeed. They make it stick though. Turn 1 is very fast.
Oh,
very close driving there. Side by side, wheel to wheel action. That was very, very interesting indeed. But very good racing. Not giving each other much of a... contact again! And this time Eccles is off.
And what was a leader for a good third of the race is now looking like he's going to finish in 3rd place. The one consolation is that it's a minute gap back to Brian Strodbeck, so he can carry on and nothing will happen. But
2 contacts for him with the same driver.
I just ran into the back of him, didn't he? Davis was lucky not to get turned around by that.
Oh yeah, certainly was. Fortune favours the brave, I know, but occasion. Good race from Eccles, though. Really has good shift out there.
Look at this. Battle for the Mustang win is still not over. 4/10 of a second between Stephen Thomas and Tyler Shiflett. Shiflett and Vigas have been behind Thomas for the entire duration of this race. But Thomas is doing the business when it really matters, and the gap's half a second with 2.5 minutes to go.
Deja vu again, isn't it? How many times do we see on a Monday night the drivers after the full race, even an endurance race, suddenly getting together at the very end to provide us with a fantastic finish.
Just about broke the 100 lap barrier. Mike Dam's made sure we get into triple figures. And yeah, Thomas v Shiflett. Can Shiflett find a moment of inspiration here to get the position? Because throughout this entire race, Thomas has kept him at bay.
You do then, through turn 1 for Stephen Thomas. He's been in good form, hasn't he, this season? and is looking to continue that vein of form with the win in the first round of the Ricmotech World Challenge.
Next week, go to in a month we go to the Virginia.
Been a battle though. All these drivers out here, I'll tell you what, it's not been...
Come back from an ad break on the final lap. Tell you what, we've been going for so long that the sleep timer's come on the TV. So I've got to find the remote to stop it turning itself off. There we go.
Official time left?
28 seconds.
Go. The Mike Dam, then this will be his final lap of the race.
Yeah.
And what a terrific race he's done. You know what? It's rare we get many mistakes from Dam, Adam, and he made that mistake earlier on. Could so easily have put his head down and decided, I don't fancy this one. And came out and he got his head down. He put great lap times in. He caught up, and he got through.
And he's done brilliantly, hasn't he?
And after the collision, Eccles had a 14-second lead, 1-4.
It didn't look like it was going to happen, did it? Until after that final round of pit stops, where he managed to get the gap down to about 3 or 4 seconds, and then he made his move after that. Fastest lap after fastest lap. He's lifting and coasting on his way home into the final few corners, and the home hero is going to take the win here, surely.
Canadian Mike Dam doing a terrific job all the way through. Recovered spectacularly well, and he comes through to win round 1 of the Ricmotech World Challenge at the Canadian Motorsport Park. Congratulations to Mike Dam. Let's see then, have they finished? Have the Mustangs finished? I don't think they have. I think they've got another one, Adam.
Just watching Eccles come through the final corner to complete the podium. Then we will go to see Shiflett and Thomas. Here we go. They are, yeah, we've got about 2/3 of a lap to go, well, but he runs a bit wide there. The gap's now 7 tenths.
It's Travis Svenke, first of all.
Oh, yeah. Here he comes.
Motorsports 074 car. With the final sector comes Svenke. It'll be class victory for him. Brilliant performance again by Svenke. He's just a class act in that Mazda MX-5. What can Tyler Shiflett do here? We know that the slipstream of the Ford Mustang is not particularly strong, although look how it's pulling down this back straight.
Look at this, yeah.
Here we go then, we're side by side.
Whoa.
Who's going to take this one into the final sector, Adam?
Ah, that was his chance there, I think. Unless it's a dive bomb into the final corner. He's all over the place as well.
Final corner.
Oh, Thomas had that covered. And what a race it's been from Stephen Thomas.
Has he got it covered on the exit? Oh!
Oh. And that's the engine gone. He will cross the line. Won't have to worry about that, I think. I don't know, but the checkered flag hasn't showed up, you know. I think the finish line's a little bit further back, isn't it? There it is. There it is. There we go. And he didn't lose the place either, fortunately.
They were the only 2 on that lap.
And that's it. Yeah, that is the race. I think that is everybody finished the race. Yes, it is.
Been told to complete the cool down lap to the garage, but Tyler Shiflett, he won't get that car back.
I think he's gonna have to talk to the nearby marshals. Either that, he can get out and walk.
From there, it's not too far at least. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And yeah, again, that race just turns to absolute gold in the final half an hour. It's always the case in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. No exceptions today.
Right, that's
waiting on Christian Ost, I think. Are we not? Or has he finished?
No, I've got the official notification saying that the race is over. So.
Right. Well.
I think so. Anyway.
Away with the finishing order then.
Okay, let's get it up on screen. Or maybe not. It just says race results and nobody's on there. Oh, let's try that again. Results. Well, if we get the timing tower up again, we can run you through it that way. And just get rid of this. Show the timing tower. There we go. With get the full names up. Mike Dam wins then. Jarvis Davis finishing in second. Third place for Drew Eccles. Who would have thought that with about, what, 20 minutes to go? Brian Strodbeck, he had a chance to win as well. He finished in fourth. Russell Ruddock finishing in fifth. Kevin Shannon, the lowest of the Porsches. Every single Porsche finishing the race as well in sixth. Then Stephen Thomas, victory in the Mustangs. He finished in seventh overall, but he won. Tyler Shiflett second. Third, Steve Brown. With the interesting strategy that Jeff Jacobs and Jennifer McDonald were quite intrigued by when we were speaking to them earlier on in the race. Then Matthew Katila, Chris Torman, and Alexander Coffard, Mike Monaghan, Christian Austin, and the Mazda winner Travis Fenke. Second, Brandon Whitworth. Third, Bobby Childs. And then the cars that had issues during the race, Jeff Jacobs, Rob Hartley, and Eric Violet completing the top 20. And those are all the cars that were involved in the race. Right, it is coming up to 25 past 3 in the morning. I think we've got time for.
I think we're going to rattle through these with all respect to the drivers out there. Yeah, we'll get Mike. We'll get
Thomas,
Steve,
and we'll get Travis, our three winners.
Get Travis. We'll just have a very, very quick word with them, starting off with Mike Dam. Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Mike, welcome to the commentary box as normal. Just a quick word, really, for everybody. Third different car we've seen you in probably as many months.
Yeah, I mean, this Porsche is really fun to drive. I mean, it's really challenging, but it's definitely a blast.
Now, you didn't make it too easy for yourself though earlier on with a spin, and after that, we said it would have been quite easy for you to just give up on that one and cruise around, but you didn't do that. You got your head down. You knew it was a long race and paid off for you in the end. Yeah,
after that first spin, it was really early in the race. I just felt like I could make it back, and then we had that second spin there with the three of us involved there, and by that time I think I was something like, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds back, and so it was looking pretty grim. But I put my head down, and I mean, my car just got faster and faster as the race go on. So,
well, Adam, have you got anything for Mike very quickly before we?
We just had the replay of the incident between you and the two other Porsches. Was there not much that you could do there when you could see that all unfolding in front of you? You just had to really follow them off, didn't you?
Yeah, Brian broke a little late and just tapped the rear end of a TD there, and they both just started sliding. So I had to just decide which way I was going to go, and I barely missed them. But fortunately, I actually spun under braking, which kind of helped that.
Well, Mike, well done. Moving on to our winner in the Mustangs. I had to put up with a lot of Clint Vigas and Tyler Schiffler. It was Stephen Thomas. Well done.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, commanding victory, but you did have to worry about Tyler Schiffler and Vigas for the majority of the race. They just wouldn't leave you.
No, we're all very evenly matched. You know, during the I guess sprint races on for the other league, we're all right there neck and neck. So I knew it was going to be a battle from the beginning, and it was definitely that.
And yeah, these 2 hour 15-minute races, is there much difference between racing these and racing the normal Ricmotech Sports Car Series races?
It definitely feels different. The strategy is a little bit different. There's a lot more variety of strategies, so that's a pretty exciting aspect of it. So it is exhausting though. I didn't have my co-driver tonight, so did the whole stint by myself, and that's a whole nother level of mental strain. But it was a good time.
Next week, Virginia International Raceway. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, I absolutely love VIR. So definitely looking forward to it and seeing some more great battles with these guys.
Oh, well done to you as well. Finally, we've got Travis Schwenke, winner of the Mazda category, and in a class where there wasn't too many cars in it by the end. How was it out there for you?
Just had to make sure you kept that concentration level up. It's the old case of if you try to go slow and be safe, you're actually in worse shape. So I just had to try to find that level where you could push and keep the car settled nicely. And Tom was spotting for me when the Porsches come. That's the big difference here. When they come on you, they're quick. So you have to be ready for them.
I was gonna say, yeah, the usually you just have to deal with the Mustangs, which some of the tracks we go to in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series are on par in terms of speed with the Mazdas. But yeah, the Porsches they were pretty quick. They were lapping you within about what 1 or 2 laps of the green flag.
Yeah, I think the first time it was lap 2. I mean, we had a 10-second gap to the Mustangs. It might have grown to maybe 13 when they called the green, but obviously they took off for the Mustangs, and the Mustangs went, and they were there instantly. I couldn't believe they were there that fast.
And the Sports Car Series, we'll quickly shed light on that. 2 race meetings in. How's the season gone so far there?
For the other series, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 no-shows. So it's time of year for me where I have some coaching obligations, and Monday nights are a little hard. We have practice usually and stuff. So that's coming to an end, though, so I should be able to make the rest of the races.
Oh, love, yeah, we hope to look forward to seeing you there. Well, yeah, well done on the Mazda win. You were able to keep it on the island and get it home, and yeah, well done on the win.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. We wrestled through them.
Yeah, well done to Travis Schwenke, and yeah, we've great winners there, and they are drivers that we're used to seeing here, but nonetheless impressive. All of them as well. Single man that effort as well.
There you go. Well, we weren't able to in that 100 minutes of Kia race. So
no, we weren't allowed to either. I don't think.
We weren't allowed to.
So,
but, yeah.
But hey, we are allowed to bring you some fantastic racing, and that's what we bring you here on the channel. The next action will be coming to you in about 16.5 hours time when the BSR MX-5 Cup makes an appearance. Then, of course, the on Thursday, it's the British Sim Racers Touring Car Championship as it heads to the Nordschleife, which will please Alex Simpson no end. So, right then, everybody. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you to Adam for the cameras. Thank you to all the drivers for putting on such a fantastic race. And, well, thank you to the Ricmotech World Challenge. Its normal service resumed in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series next week. But from all of us here tonight, the Ricmotech World Challenge, good night from Apex Racing TV.